Quantum mechanics is extraordinarily counterintuitive.
Exactly.
Even relativity.
Right.
General relativity doesn't make any sense from a
Earth is accelerating from all the directions.
Exactly.
How is
For
that
example,
possible?
in special relativity of length contraction, time
Yes,
dilation,
time dilation.
it doesn't make any sense to our mind. Quantum level पर तो gravity है कि नहीं ये भी
है ही
पता
नहीं,
नहीं है।
ग्रेविटॉन है कि नहीं वही नहीं
सबसे
पता।
बड़ा प्रश्न तो ये कि समय क्या है। Any good religion has a philosophical background.
Yeah.
A rigorous philosophical background.
Yeah.
कुछ religions are only about faith, कुछ religions are about inquiry and about philosophy.
Yeah.
Philosophy has logic. Imagine that something like something non-physical like the soul exists. Now using that you can create a whole logical theory.
Yeah.
There are lots of scientists who are religious.
Yes.
For example, Lemaitre, he's one of the pioneers in cosmology. He was a Catholic priest. General relativity has a huge issue. बहुत बड़ा issue है. हम जानते हैं कि वो उसमें कुछ गड़बड़ है. क्यों? It gives you infinities, which are called singularities.
Exactly.
The singularity is division by zero. It doesn't mean that there is a singularity in the universe. It means your math is wrong.
And that relationship was like, that was kind of one-sided.
Okay.
That was for like 5 years.
Okay.
But then I was getting mixed signals.
Okay.
So we were in a relationship and then we were not. And then mixed signals.
I see.
So the more you invest and the more mixed signals you get, the more you get attached to it. स्वागत है गाइस आज के इस नए पॉडकास्ट में। आज हमारे साथ है एक बहुत ही स्पेशल गेस्ट। आप लोग ने हमेशा कमेंट्स में नीचे बताया कि यार आप अभिजीत चावड़ा सर को बुलाइए, वो आ गए हैं अभी सारे सवालों के जवाब देने के लिए। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर कमिंग अभिजीत सर।
Thank you so much for having me. Great pleasure.
सो सबसे पहले सर आपसे मैं ये पूछना चाहूँगा कि लाइक आपका जो, जैसे मैंने आपके बारे में रिसर्च किया, मैं आपको फॉलो भी कर रहा हूँ काफ़ी टाइम से। आपने रिसर्च पेपर्स लिखे हैं साइंस में, फिजिक्स में, डार्क मैटर, डार्क एनर्जी, क्वांटम ग्रेविटी पर, और एट द सेम टाइम आप जियोपॉलिटिक्स में भी इंटरेस्टेड हो, ग्रेट हिस्टोरियन हो, आपने बहुत सारा नॉलेज शेयर किया हिस्ट्री के बारे में। इसके साथ आप आर्कियोजेनेटिक्स में भी आप इंटरेस्टेड हो। तो आज के ज़माने में जहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो कि एक बहुत ही स्पेशलाइज्ड अप्रोच डाला जा रहा है लोगों पर, मतलब हमारे एजुकेशन सिस्टम्स हमें स्पेशलाइजेशन की तरफ लेके जा रहे हैं, हमें कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि कंपार्टमेंटलाइज करें कि एक फील्ड में ही आप महारथी हासिल करो। तो ये आपकी फ़िलॉसफी क्या है इसके पीछे? बिकॉज ये पॉलीमैथिक जो एबिलिटीज़ है या पॉलीमैथिक आपका जो क्वेस्ट है नॉलेज गेन करने का, व्हाट इज़ द फिलॉसफी बिहाइंड दैट? बिकॉज आई सो मच रेजोनेट विद दिस और मैं चाहता हूँ कि लोगों को भी इसके बारे में मालूम पड़े। ये मेरी एक लड़ाई है।
फिलॉसफी मेरा मेनली क्यूरियोसिटी है कि मैं बचपन से बहुत क्यूरियस रहा हूँ। आई बीन क्यूरियस अबाउट ऑल काइंड्स ऑफ थिंग्स। मैं मेनली तो साइंस में ही क्यूरियस था कि ये जो हमारा जो यूनिवर्स है, हमारा विश्व है, ये इस प्रकार से क्यों है, वाई इज इट लाइक दिस, वाई इज इट नॉट इन अ डिफरेंट वे। लेकिन मैं और भी चीज़ों में बहुत क्यूरियस था। एसेंशली मेरा आई हैव काइंड ऑफ अ डिटेक्टिव माइंडसेट। जहाँ पर भी मिस्ट्री है मुझे वहाँ पे आकर्षण होता है। तो जहाँ पर भी मिस्ट्री है, जहाँ पर भी अनआंसर्ड क्वेश्चंस है, आई फाइंड दैट इंटरेस्टिंग।
ओके।
तो ऐसे क्वेश्चंस, अनआंसर्ड क्वेश्चंस हर बहुत सारे फील्ड्स में हैं, नॉट जस्ट इन साइंस एंड फिजिक्स, ऑल्सो हिस्ट्री में भी ऐसे बहुत सारे अनआंसर्ड क्वेश्चंस हैं। आर्कियोजेनेटिक्स जैसा आपने कहा, इट टाइज इन विद हिस्टोरिकल क्वेश्चंस कि हमारा जो पास्ट इतिहास है, डीप हिस्ट्री, उसके जवाब अगर हमें नहीं मिलते तो वी कैन लुक इनटू आर्कियोजेनेटिक्स एंड जेनेटिक हिस्ट्री, पॉपुलेशन जेनेटिक्स। तो इस कारण से ये सारे फील्ड्स में मेरी रुचि रही है। ओवरऑल देयर इज अ पैटर्न टू व्हाट आई डू। पैटर्न ये है कि I apply the scientific thinking, scientific way of thinking, the scientific method in all these questions. तो बचपन से मुझे हिस्ट्री बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग लगती थी। आई लाइक स्टोरीज, आई लाइक मूवीज़। मुझे मूवीज़ देखने में अच्छा मज़ा आता है अगर उसमें अच्छी स्टोरी है तो। और अगर आप हिस्ट्री देखेंगे, इट्स लाइक अ मूवी। इट्स समटाइम्स मोर इंटरेस्टिंग देन फिक्शनल स्टोरीज, है ना। तो मैं बचपन में इजिप्ट की हिस्ट्री पढ़ता था, रोमन हिस्ट्री पढ़ता था, ग्रीक हिस्ट्री पढ़ता था। और धीरे धीरे बहुत सारे मैंने अलग अलग जगहों की हिस्ट्री पढ़ी। और फिर धीरे धीरे मुझे पैटर्न्स दिखने लगे हिस्ट्री में, राइज एंड फॉल ऑफ किंगडम्स एंड एम्पायर्स एंड कल्चर्स एंड सिविलाइजेशन। और जो प्रिंसिपल्स इसमें आपको दिखेंगे, जो पैटर्न्स आपको दिखेंगे उसमें, वो आप हर जगह अप्लाई कर सकते हो, नॉट ओनली इन ग्रीस और रोम, ऑल्सो इन चाइना, ऑल्सो इन अफ्रीका, ऑल्सो इन इंडिया। बिकॉज ह्यूमन नेचर तो यूनिवर्सल चीज़ है, वो पैटर्न्स भी यूनिवर्सल पैटर्न्स है। और इस तरह से मुझे हिस्ट्री में बहुत ही इंटरेस्ट था एंड आई स्टडीड अ लॉट ऑफ हिस्ट्री एज अ हॉबी। मेरा मेन फोकस तो हमेशा साइंस था बचपन में, बट आई स्टडीड हिस्ट्री एज अ हॉबी। आई रेड हिस्ट्री एज अ हॉबी। आई यूज्ड टू गो टू यूनिवर्सिटी लाइब्रेरीज एंड रीड essentially college level, university level history books just for fun, ऐसा करता था। और उससे क्या हुआ कि because I started understanding the patterns of history, I realized कि जो past patterns है उसको आज भी apply कर सकते हो और in the future भी extrapolate कर सकते हो। And once you can do that, you're doing geopolitics.
Yeah.
हिस्ट्री एंड जियोपॉलिटिक्स में ये कनेक्शन है, सेम पैटर्न्स, सेम प्रिंसिपल्स. सो दैट्स हाउ आई गॉट an understanding of history and of geopolitics. But मेरा हमेशा approach वही है, to use logic and the scientific mindset, the scientific method in any analysis that I do. So overall, that is the one thing that ties everything together, the scientific approach, the scientific method.
Leonardo da Vinci was also a polymath. और उन्होंने ये कहा था कि दुनिया में everything connects somewhere.
Everything connects, yes.
So ultimately, like आपकी जो underlying आपका जो emotion था वो curiosity था. और वो फॉर सम रीज़न समाज के वजह से बंद नहीं हो गया, बिकॉज कॉन्स्टेंटली आप देखोगे तो समाज क्यूरियोसिटी को दबाने की कोशिश कर रहा है, लाइक थ्रू सिस्टम्स. मतलब सिस्टम्स ऐसे क्रिएटेड है कि लोग अपनी अपनी लाइफ में लगे हुए हैं, उनको मेरी लाइफ से बाहर लाइक जो मिस्ट्रीज़ है, जो सवाल है और जो फंडामेंटल्स है, उनमें उनको कोई रुचि नहीं है. बट काइंड ऑफ मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि ये सब सीखना और ये नॉलेज गेन करना एक चीट कोड की तरह है. लाइक अगर आप नॉलेज गेन करते हो तो आप अपने लाइफ को एक बहुत ही बेहतर डायरेक्शन में डायरेक्ट कर सकते हो. एंड ऑल्सो एट द सेम टाइम यू आर वेरी हैप्पी बिकॉज यू आर मोर इन ट्यून विथ योर ओन सेल्फ, विथ योर ओन नेचुरल सेल्फ. सो हम क्यूरियस क्यों हैं? क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं क्यूरियोसिटी ने हमारे एवोल्यूशन को बेनिफिट किया था इन द पास्ट. और आज हम अगर उस चीज़ को दबाएंगे तो इंसान खुश कैसे रहेगा?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
सो ग्रेट सर, लाइक आई थिंक ये मैसेज लोगों तक पहुंचना चाहिए. उनको भी अपने आसपास जो भी चीज़ें हैं क्वेश्चन करना शुरू करना चाहिए. और पॉलीमैथिक एबिलिटीज़ के लिए आई बिलीव कि डोंट रेस्ट्रिक्ट योरसेल्फ टू अ पर्टिकुलर सब्जेक्ट. बिकॉज सर यहाँ पे एक और एक मेरा इसको लेके पर्सपेक्टिव है कि फॉर एग्जांपल क्या होता है कि आज के टाइम पे क्रिएटिविटी में कोई भी पर्सन कुछ ग्राउंड ब्रेकिंग नई चीज़ नहीं ला रहा. वो एक्चुअली में क्या कर रहा है, वो एक फील्ड के नॉलेज को किसी दूसरे फील्ड के नॉलेज के साथ कनेक्ट कर रहा है. तो एक फील्ड के फंडामेंटल को किसी दूसरे फील्ड के साथ फंडामेंटल के साथ कनेक्ट कर रहा है, और नतीजा ये हो रहा है कि कुछ क्रिएटिव निकल जा रहा है. सो आप यहाँ एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप में भी देखेंगे कि बहुत सारे कंपनी, सो फॉर एग्जांपल पहले कुछ ही कंपनीज आए थे जो कि अपने बिजनेस को ऐप पर लेके आए. फिर एक पॉइंट के बाद आप देखोगे हर इंडस्ट्री में ये ऐप के साथ अपने बिजनेस को कनेक्ट करने का जो ट्रेंड है वो चालू हो गया.
It's a norm now.
It's a norm now.
Yes.
So that is what creativity. You just conjoined the IT industry with your core business.
Yes.
So I believe इससे एक आपको एक बहुत ही बड़ा creative advantage भी मिलता है if you develop the polymathic abilities.
And the thing is that all children are full of curiosity. They're bubbling with curiosity.
Yes.
But the education system smashes it out of them.
Smashes, exactly.
So we have to somehow find a way to retain that curiosity. Don't let it die.
Right.
And keep it alive. अगर it's fine to specialize in things. Everybody, see, most people need to have a job.
Absolutely.
Most people need to have a 9 to 5 and they earn from that. But always find some time to keep your curiosity alive and enjoy other things in life as well.
Right. So अभी हाल ही में मैंने पॉडकास्ट किया था माइलस्वामी अन्नादुराई सर के साथ. तो he was the director of Chandrayaan 2 and मंगलयान मिशन. So he said कि इसरो में अगर आपको एक डायरेक्टर बनना है तो आपके पास एक मैक्रोस्कोपिक अप्रोच भी होना चाहिए. यू नीड टू नो कि किस तरीके से स्पेसक्राफ्ट बन रहा है, फैब्रिकेट कहाँ हो रहा है, उसके जो कैलकुलेशन है वो कैसे किए जा रहे हैं, ऑल एन नंबर ऑफ थिंग्स. बट देन एट द सेम टाइम यू नीड टू ऑल्सो हैव अ माइक्रोस्कोपिक अप्रोच कि कहीं पर अगर कुछ गड़बड़ हो रहा है तो यू नीड टू ऑलरेडी नो कि यार ये चीज़ गड़बड़ हो रही है और ये आगे जाके प्रॉब्लम देगी. सो आई बिलीव विथ इवन विथ लाइफ एज वेल कि आप अपने फील्ड में मास्टरी हासिल करो, बट आपके जो दूसरे पॉलीमैथिक एबिलिटीज़ है वो आपको और हेल्प करेंगे वहाँ पे और मास्टरी अचीव करने के लिए, because they would provide you with a bunch of other perspectives that you might not have.
And it helps also.
Absolutely.
For example, let's say you are in a particular field, let's say in IT, अगर आप IT में हो.
Yes.
But you also need to understand finance if you want to have a good financial life, if you want to know where to invest in things.
Right.
You also need some understanding of maybe medicine if you want to take care of a family.
Absolutely.
To make sure कि कुछ नया कुछ नहीं हो जाए. Pandemic हुआ था recently and all. So it always helps to have knowledge in different fields.
Yes.
The major fields, because it helps you in life.
राइट. सो सर यहाँ पे मैं एक इवेंट शेयर करूँगा बिकॉज इससे काइंड ऑफ लोगों को एक और पर्सपेक्टिव मिलेगा कि साइंस का आपकी लाइफ में क्या रोल प्ले होता है. तो अभी रिसेंटली मेरा पेट है, सिम्बा नाम का कैट है, पर्शियन कैट, मेल कैट. सो हमने घर पे पेस्टिसाइड्स कराए थे, तो पेस्ट कंट्रोल कराया था. उसमें हमने पेस्टिसाइड्स मारा था जिसमें एक कंपाउंड होता है परमेथ्रिन करके. तो अल्फा साइपरमेथ्रिन करके वो कंपाउंड है. Now this permethrin compound is very toxic for cats, but it is not at all toxic for dogs.
Okay.
तो वो जो पेस्ट कंट्रोल वाला था, obviously he is not a scientist or he doesn't have proper knowledge, right, about that thing. उसने बोला कि नहीं, ये पेट के लिए एकदम सेफ है. तो हमने क्या किया, बोला कि उसने 2 घंटे इसको साइड में रख लो, उसके बाद उसको आने दो, कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा। 2 घंटे, हमने 3 घंटे उसको आइसोलेट किया पेट को, फिर बाद में वापस से उसको हम लेके आ गए उस रूम में। और नेक्स्ट मॉर्निंग जब भी मैं उठा, कैट को सीजर्स आ रहे थे। मतलब पूरा एक तरीके से एपिलेप्टिक सीजर्स कह सकते हैं, और मसल ट्विचेस हो रहे थे, और उसका फेस देखकर लाइक मिर्गी का दौरा जिसको बोलते हैं ना, तो वैसा लग रहा था पूरा।
अच्छा।
एंड नाउ ये पर्टिकुलर जो चीज़ थी परमेथ्रिन करके, तो आई रिसर्च अ लिटिल ऑन दिस कि ये क्या कंपाउंड है। इट टर्न्ड आउट इट इज़ नॉट वाटर सोल्यूबल, इट इज़ फैट सोल्यूबल पॉइजन।
ओके
राइट। तो अब हम उससे पहले हम एक उसे वेट के पास लेके गए थे। तो मोस्ट ऑफ दी जो वेट्स थे ना, 2 वेट के पास ले गए थे, वो लोग क्या ट्रीटमेंट कर रहे थे, वो लोग वाटर डाल रहे थे सेलाइन के थ्रू।
ओके।
बट उससे कुछ असर नहीं हो रहा था। फिर बाद में ये जो एब्स्ट्रैक्ट था, जो कि रिसर्च किया गया था, जिसमें सक्सेस रेट वाज क्लोज टू 80%, और यूजुअली इट्स जस्ट 25% इफ यू ट्राई टू रिंस इट विथ वाटर। 80%। सो आई सजेस्टेड दैट रिसर्च कि ये आप करिए, ये देखो, ये जो रिसर्च है ये अभी नया किया गया है और इससे सर्वाइवल रेट बहुत हाई है। तो उन्होंने बोला कि देखो, ये हम यहाँ पे नहीं कर सकते, आपको हॉस्पिटल में जाना होगा, क्योंकि इसमें लिपिड इमल्शन थेरेपी है वो। लिपिड्स, तो लोग लिपिड्स को डालते हैं, इंजेक्ट करते हैं, और ताकि लिपिड्स स्पंज की तरह वो पॉइजन के जो मॉलिक्यूल्स है उसको लेके रिंस हो जाए करके। सो वी डिड 3 सेशंस, बट फर्स्ट सेशन के बाद में ही कैट में बहुत ही मार्क्ड इंप्रूवमेंट आया। So otherwise the survival rate was 25% and luckily the cat survived after 3 days. So ये ऐसे छोटे छोटे जो साइंटिफिक एप्लीकेशंस हमारे लाइफ में आते रहते हैं. लाइक इफ यू हैव द एबिलिटी टू अंडरस्टैंड साइंस, टू अंडरस्टैंड रिसर्च पेपर्स, देन you can direct your life, not only your but the people around you, you can direct their lives in a positive direction. Absolutely. In a better direction, I believe. Yes. तो सर एनीवे, ये तो बस लोगों को बताने के लिए, बस लोग अक्सर ऐसा सोचते हैं कि यार साइंस का मेरी लाइफ से कोई वास्ता ही नहीं है, साइंस इज जस्ट अ सब्जेक्ट. सो सर, योर रिसर्च स्पेशलाइजेशन इज इनटू डार्क मैटर एंड डार्क एनर्जी. सो कैन यू शेयर अ लिटिल बिट मोर अबाउट ये रिसर्च किस चीज़ पे हो रहा है, एंड व्हाट वर द बिगेस्ट प्रॉब्लम्स दैट साइंस कम्युनिटी वाज फेसिंग दैट काइंड ऑफ एनकरेज्ड यू कि यार इस चीज़ पे रिसर्च करना चाहिए?
या डेफिनेटली. सो कॉस्मोलॉजी में, फिजिक्स में एक बहुत बड़ा मिस्ट्री है कि व्हाट इज 95% ऑफ द यूनिवर्स. फॉर एग्जांपल, इफ यू लुक एट स्पेस टुडे, वी सी स्टार्स, गैलेक्सीज, वी सी planets, we see nebula, we see lots of light. The whole night sky is full of light, right? Beautiful, brilliant lights. Every single light source that we see in the world, if you add it all together, it makes up about 5% of the mass of the universe. 95% of the mass is missing. और हमें बिल्कुल भी आइडिया नहीं है कि वो 95% मास क्या है. तो अगर उस 95% मास को अगर आप थोड़ा और एनालाइज करेंगे, तो उसमें अबाउट 20% इज व्हाट इज कॉल्ड डार्क मैटर, एंड अबाउट 70%, 25% इज डार्क मैटर, एंड अबाउट 70% इज डार्क एनर्जी. रफली बोल रहा हूँ, रफली. एग्जैक्ट परसेंटेज मे बी हियर और देयर थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट. सो डार्क मैटर इज सम काइंड ऑफ सब्सटेंस. इट कुड बी सम काइंड ऑफ particle or a family of particles, perhaps,
which we haven't discovered.
It is entirely invisible. That's why we call it dark matter. And there is something called dark energy, which is a force or a fluid or something which is responsible for the expansion, the accelerating expansion of the universe. So dark matter, हमें कुछ तो आइडिया है कि शायद कोई पार्टिकल है या फैमिली ऑफ पार्टिकल, क्लास ऑफ पार्टिकल्स है, लेकिन डार्क एनर्जी के बारे में हमें उतना भी आइडिया नहीं है. राइट. सो 95% ऑफ द मास ऑफ द यूनिवर्स is unaccounted for. हम सोचते हैं हमें सब मालूम है. We don't understand 95% of the universe. Right. जो 5% हमें समझता है, उसमें भी बहुत सारे questions है. Standard model भी अच्छे तरह
सारे particles नहीं ढूंढ.
Exactly. So there is such a huge mystery. There are so many huge mysteries out there in physics. हम essentially कुछ भी नहीं समझते हमारे यूनिवर्स के बारे में. And that's a mystery that I was drawn towards कि भाई dark matter, dark energy क्या होता है. So then the question was कि how do we find, so let's talk about dark matter. It's some kind of particle. उसकी properties हमें पता है. It only interacts gravitationally. It does not interact with any electromagnetic
field or force.
Yeah. So electromagnetic, मतलब it is invisible. There is no light. It doesn't interact with light, and it only interacts with gravity. Because we know how galaxies rotate and all, which shows there is some missing mass out there. तो ठीक है, तो मैं, सो वी थॉट कि भाई देयर इज अ मिसिंग, वी हैव दिस क्लास ऑफ मैटर, इट इज़ इनविजिबल, इट इज़ ओनली ग्रेविटेटिंग. सो व्हाट इफ वी हैड, सो हम जानते हैं कि इन द वेरी अर्ली यूनिवर्स देयर वाज मोस्ट लाइकली एन overabundance of primordial black holes. A very huge amount of very tiny microscopic ancient black holes were created in the very early universe. During reheating and also during maybe after inflation and so on, there are different phases where this could have happened. And what if those microscopic primordial black holes did not all die out? What if they survived and they formed bound states, gravitational bound states for whatever reason?
Right.
And if that is the case, then maybe they are still around and maybe that could be a component of the dark matter today.
Right.
So that was the basic motivation for the research. And then I was the co-author of a couple of a number of papers in which we have examined the possibility, the scenario, if you have primordial black holes and they form gravitational bound states, but quantum mechanical gravitational bound states, not classical bound states.
Okay, so it would not be visible on a spatial level, but it is there.
It's there.
It is kind of getting all the stuff together. Yeah.
So these would be like essentially molecules of black holes.
Properties.
Molecules of atoms of black holes. Atoms. Like the hydrogen atom, similarly a gravitational hydrogen atom made of two microscopic black holes. So would this be stable? And if it is stable, what would the properties be like? So we have to calculate that using quantum mechanics and all that. And quantum mechanics doesn't really work over there, so we have to make some assumptions. Otherwise, there's no point doing anything. So that sort of thing. So we have to use the Schrödinger equation of quantum mechanics, but we have to use it with Newtonian gravity. And what if that works? So there are lots of approaches you can use. You can use string theory for that. You can use quantum field theory. You can use standard quantum mechanics and all that. So that's one of the approaches that can be taken, and that's what was taken in my research. And so in my research, we have given a hypothetical particle called the helium, which could be a hydrogen atom kind of thing. It could have multiple primordial black holes inside, which would be like a helium or lithium or whatever in standard in the standard model, that sort of thing. And what is the research says that if you have stable bound states of primordial black holes, that could be a significant component of dark matter as we have today. And the research also tells what kind of gravitational waves they would give off. Quantized gravitational radiation. In some cases, if you take a certain scenario, it is the harmonic oscillator waveform and things like that. But of course, today it is not possible to detect these things because our gravitational wave detectors are very primitive. For example, हमारे पास एक gravitational wave detector है, which is called LIGO. It's in the US, LIGO. So that is essentially not a gravitational wave detector, it's a gravitational tsunami detector. So if you look at a pond, उस पे छोटे-छोटे ripples होते हैं, those are small waves. But a tsunami is an enormous wave, which is like half a kilometer. So our LIGO can detect tsunamis. It can't detect those small ripples.
Tiny ripples.
So space-time is most likely full of these tiny ripples, gravitational waves. But right now our instruments are so
emanating from these molecules, right? Of these atoms of black holes. If they exist.
If they exist, then you would have an entire gravitational wave background, like you have a cosmic microwave background, that sort of thing. So that would exist. That's what my theory says. But as of today, we have no means of detecting that because our detectors are very primitive. So in the future, it may be proven right.
Yes. So now there are many gravitational wave observatories being set up, right?
But those are still very primitive.
I don't think they are too powerful. But eventually, like as the technology rises up, so probably at least we have a methodology using which we can test. So the hallmark of a good theory is that it should be testable and falsifiable. Not just testable, but also falsifiable. So this theory does have those characteristics, but right now we don't have the instrumentation that can do it. Maybe in the next coming decades we will have it. So sir, like जैसे आपने ये चीज़ बताई कि लाइक 95% जो यूनिवर्स है उसको हम नहीं समझते राइट? तो यहाँ पर लाइक मेरा एक कॉन्सेप्ट है, मतलब आई वाज थिंकिंग हार्ड ऑन दिस टॉपिक सिंस फ्यू डेज. तो एक कॉन्सेप्ट है जिसमें बेसिकली कुछ ऐसा है, बट चलो मैं उसके बारे में बाद में बात करता हूँ. पहले हम कॉजालिटी को इंट्रोड्यूस कर लेते हैं. ठीक है. कॉजालिटी के बारे में बाद में वो ट्रांजिशन चला जाएगा. सो साइंस में एक क्वेश्चन आता है अक्सर, और इवन फिलॉसफी में आता है कि ये सारी चीज़ें स्टार्ट कहाँ से हुई, मतलब 0 से 1 कैसे हुआ. बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली देखो, जैसे अगर हम किसी भी चीज़ को कोई भी इवेंट को हम डिस्क्राइब करेंगे, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल हम ह्यूमन बींग्स कहाँ से आए, तो हम कह सकते हैं एवोल्यूशन थियरी के हिसाब से ह्यूमंस में जेनेटिक रिकॉम्बिनेशन, जेनेटिक म्यूटेशन की वजह से चेंजेस आते गए, स्ट्रक्चरल चेंजेस, नेचुरल सिलेक्शन, सेक्सुअल सिलेक्शन की वजह से इवॉल्व हुए और आज हम यहाँ पे। पहला डीएनए, पहला आरएनए का मॉलिक्यूल कैसे बना था? बिकॉज ऑफ द पहला सेल जो बना था, लिपिड, एमिनो एसिड्स और दुनिया भर की चीज़ें। पहला सेल क्यों बना था? बिकॉज अर्थ बन पाया, और अर्थ के जो वो टाइम के जो परिस्थिति थी उसके वजह से वो सेल बन पाना पॉसिबल हो पाया। अर्थ सोलर सिस्टम की वजह से बना, सोलर सिस्टम बिग बैंग की वजह से बना। बट देन व्हाट बिफोर बिग बैंग? व्हाट? अब कुछ है थियरी ऑफ एवरीथिंग जो इसको आंसर करती है, ठीक है, देयर आर मेम्ब्रेन, सुपर चार्ज मेम्ब्रेन्स, देयर इज हाइपर स्पेस, बट व्हाट बिफोर दैट, राइट? तो अल्टीमेटली ये सवाल कहीं ना कहीं साइंस के लिए भी एक जगह पे जाके स्टॉप हो जाता है कि उसके पहले क्या। अब इसको कुछ लोग बोलेंगे कि यार इस सवाल का जवाब तो धर्म ही दे सकता है, भगवान, राइट? सो दे पुट इन गॉड ओवर देयर कि किसने सब कुछ क्रिएट किया? गॉड ने क्रिएट किया। बट देन द क्वेश्चन स्टिल रिमेन्स कि अगर इस लॉजिक से एवरीथिंग इज बीइंग क्रिएटेड बाय समथिंग, देन हु क्रिएटेड दैट समथिंग? तो गॉड को किसने क्रिएट किया? तो ये जो कॉजालिटी का लूप है, इसको ब्रेक करना लॉजिकली काइंड ऑफ थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट है, और मतलब मेरे हिसाब से बहुत सारे लोगों के लिए इम्पॉसिबल है। तो क्या ये वाकई में इम्पॉसिबल है, या फिर देयर लाइक वी हैव टू थिंक समथिंग डिफरेंट फ्रॉम अ डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव, जहाँ पे हमें शायद लॉजिक को टाटा बाय बाय बोलना है और यूनिवर्स के कुछ एक्सियोम्स को बिलीव करना है कि शायद रियलिटी की असली वास्तविकता ऐसी ही है। जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल क्वांटम रैंडमनेस, तो हर जगह पे जैसे क्वांटम फील्ड थियरी कहती है कि हर जगह पे पार्टिकल्स आर कॉन्स्टेंटली कमिंग इन एंड आउट ऑफ एग्जिस्टेंस, उसके वेव फंक्शंस हर जगह पे हमें दिख रहे हैं, राइट? वो क्वांटाइज तब होते हैं जब वो इंटरैक्ट करते हैं दूसरे फील्ड्स के साथ, बट अल्टीमेटली दे आर जस्ट लाइक रैंडम डांस हो रहा है उनका। तो क्या ये एक एक्सियोम हो सकता है कि हाइपर स्पेस में भी यही चीज़ हो रही है? जो भी हो सकता है वो हो रहा है, और अल्टीमेटली रियलिटी इज अ मैनिफेस्टेशन ऑफ दैट, or what? Like, how can we break out of this causality loop?
Right. So it's a very, very interesting question. Very good question. What is the beginning of the beginning? See, to answer this scientifically, हमें डेटा के ऊपर निर्भर करना पड़ेगा. Because science is all about empirical evidence, observational evidence, and data. If you don't have data, you don't have a theory.
Yeah.
Now, हमारा डेटा कहाँ तक जाता है? It goes up to the aftermath of the Big Bang. After inflation, we have a CMBR, cosmic microwave background radiation. We know the characteristics of the radiation. That tells us the conditions in the very early universe after the Big Bang. उसके पहले का डेटा हमारे पास है ही नहीं.
Yep.
So without data, we can only speculate. And if we can definitely construct mathematical theories कि क्या हो सकता है,
इतनी एनर्जी निकली, कहाँ से निकली?
Yes, but if you cannot falsify a theory, it's not theory, it's not science, it's philosophy. Right?
Yes. Absolutely.
If you cannot falsify a theory, I can give you a theory. Okay, between the orbit of Uranus and Neptune, there is a Hawking's pressure cooker going around the sun. ये theory definitely एक scientific theory है. I mean, it is definitely a good theory.
Okay.
But can you falsify it? You can't prove it wrong.
Yeah.
You cannot prove it right, but you can't even prove it wrong.
Or something like unicorn exists in this universe.
Yeah. Right. So okay, we don't have evidence. Yes. The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence, but we cannot falsify it also.
As well.
So a theory which cannot be falsified is not a scientific theory, even though it may be mathematically rigorous.
Yes.
So that's why we have lots of theories like string theory and all.
Yeah.
And various classes of theories which cannot be falsified. If it can't be falsified, it's not scientific. So the point is that the question of what came before the beginning, before the Big Bang, you can only speculate about it in the absence
answer through philosophy.
You can answer through philosophy. अब you spoke about धर्म की, धर्म की बात आती है कि अगर आपके पास इसका कोई उत्तर नहीं तो आप धर्म के पास जाओगे. देखिए क्या होता है ना कि you cannot mix science and religion. ये चीजें मिक्स होती ही नहीं है. Let me explain why. Any good religion has a philosophical background.
Yeah.
A rigorous philosophical background.
Yeah.
Kuch religions are only about faith, kuch religions are about inquiry and about philosophy.
Yeah.
Philosophy has logic. Philosophy has a very strong logical underpinning.
Right.
But in philosophy, see, philosophical theories are also theories. Just like scientific theories, there is logic in philosophical theories. But in science, the theories are grounded in data, in empirical and observational evidence, and the phenomena are all physical phenomena. In philosophy, you could have things like non-physical objects, non-physical phenomena,
metaphysics,
and that sort of thing,
and still prove something.
So imagine that something like something non-physical like the soul exists. Now, using that, you can create a whole logical theory, which with proper properties of the soul, and then it's a whole philosophical theory. But it's not a scientific theory because it's a non-physical
Nobody
object.
has proved the existence of soul.
Because it's a non-physical object.
Yes.
The soul is by definition a non-physical object. उसका कोई weight नहीं है, mass नहीं है, size नहीं है, right? So you cannot mix something that is non-physical with something that is physical. So any theory, any system which has non-physical objects and concepts like for example, ethics, morality, all those things, these things, they come into the class of philosophical and religious theories, not scientific theories. So when somebody starts saying कि भाई अब हम science explain नहीं कर सकता इस चीज को, अब भगवान की बात करते हैं, that is, I respect that, but that is not science. It doesn't mean it is good or bad or wrong or right. It is completely wrong for a scientist to make fun of philosophical theories and religious theories.
And vice versa.
Yeah. It is completely wrong for a religious person to make fun of science because you don't understand science. And similarly, most scientists don't understand religion or philosophy. ये दोनों चीजें are like oil and water, they don't mix. Right. Some people may be able to straddle both the domains, but even in their minds, they're very clear कि ये अलग है, ये अलग है.
Yes.
There are lots of scientists who are religious.
Yes.
For example, what's his name? Lemaitre. He's one of the pioneers in cosmology. He was a Catholic priest. He believed in
Galileo was also he believed in religion, right? Initially,
maybe he must have believed in religion too. I'm not very familiar with his life history, the religious history. But Georges Lemaitre was definitely a Catholic priest. Okay. But he came up with very significant contributions to the Big Bang theory, physical cosmology, which are completely against his religious beliefs. So it's possible to have this. For example, Ramanujan, one of the greatest mathematicians in the past 1,000 years, he was a deeply religious person. Right. Every equation came from his goddess in his dreams. So you can reconcile these two things in your mind, but at the end of the day, these are separate things.
Yes, absolutely. So that, in my opinion, religion or the religious philosophy adds meaning to your life because universe as a whole, it doesn't have any meaning. Like universe science can answer the how, but not the why, right? Why? Like why? And which probably brings us to the original causality thing कि शायद, और ये मतलब मेरा एक assumption है that this is a philosophical direction where we are going in right now, कि शायद अगर, and there are some scientific bases, like वो data obviously अगर हम सिर्फ अपने यूनिवर्स के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में समझे तो काफ़ी माइक्रोस्कोपिक हो जाएगा बिकॉज बहुत सारी थियरीज बोलती है कि यूनिवर्स के बाहर भी बहुत सारे यूनिवर्सेस हो सकते हैं. Like there could be hyperspace.
Hinduism says this, and it's not a scientific theory.
Yeah, exactly.
Beyond science.
Different concepts and different philosophies.
Yeah.
So अब यहाँ पर अगर हम वो क्वांटम फील्ड थियरी का एजम्पशन लेते हैं और हम एज्यूम करते हैं कि इस यूनिवर्स में जो भी चीज़, because there are so much quantum fluctuations everywhere, there are vibrations, there are harmonics everywhere, तो obviously यहाँ पे multiple चीज़ें create हो रही है. So we can classify these creations into two things. One is stable systems and one is unstable systems. So stable systems can exist in time because stability एक ऐसा bond है या एक ऐसा system है जो create होता है जिसमें चीज़ें exist करती है, like for a particular period of time, because it's kind of like universe has this great affinity towards stability. जो भी चीज़ stable है, it would exist for particular period of time, and then unstable systems maybe वो exist करता है, but that is not something we are concerned about, and the reason is our brain, because our brain is a stability seeking mechanism. It cares more about survival, and because it cares about survival, it cares about prediction, like making prediction or having the ability to make prediction. So ये stable systems के वजह से हम prediction कर सकते हैं, because कोई चीज़ stable है, then we can predict कि भाई आगे क्या होगा, और वहीं पे हमारे साइंस के, विज्ञान के, मैथमेटिक्स के लॉज काम में आएंगे. अनस्टेबल चीज़ में हम कोई लॉज नहीं बना सकते, अदरवाइज दोज वैल्यूज वुड बी कभी कुछ आ रहा है कभी कुछ आ रहा है, तो आप कैसे प्रेडिक्ट करोगे. सो अल्टीमेटली इफ़ वी बिलीव कि यूनिवर्स में ये इसको वेव्स कहो, इसको हार्मोनिक्स कहो, इसको पार्टिकल कमिंग इन आउट ऑफ एग्जिस्टेंस कहो, बट इसके वजह से ये दो सिस्टम्स क्रिएट हो रहे हैं. And we are concerned about the stable systems. We are not concerned about the unstable systems. और stable systems के वजह से, so stability gives rise to more stabilities. तो for instance अगर हमारा universe ही एक stable system रहा, तो यूनिवर्स बिकॉज बिग बैंग के थ्रू आया, तो उसके बाद गैलेक्सीज बने तो फिर सोलर सिस्टम्स बने तो प्लैनेट्स आ पाए, और प्लैनेट्स को राइट अमाउंट ऑफ हीट रेडिएशंस मिले, तो फिर उसके वजह से लाइफ फॉर्म हो पाई. ऑल बिकॉज यूनिवर्स वॉज अ स्टेबल सिस्टम. बट देन दिस स्टेबिलिटी इज अ पासिंग फेज, क्योंकि अल्टीमेटली वो यूनिवर्स भी लाइक जैसे कि एक पॉइंट के बाद डार्क एनर्जी उसको रिप अपार्ट कर देगी. सो वी आर लिविंग इन दिस पर्टिकुलर एरा जहाँ पे द स्टेबिलिटी इज जस्ट राइट फॉर अर्थ टू एग्जिस्ट एंड फॉर अस टू एग्जिस्ट. तो सर क्या आपको लगता है कि ये थियरी वो काइंड ऑफ फिलोसॉफिकली वो कॉजल, बट मतलब एक फिलोसफी और साइंस को थोड़ा अच्छे से मतलब थोड़ा सा ब्लेंड करके kind of could this be something that can be considered, because ultimately this thing fascinates me कि एक इंसान एक यूनिवर्स को किस नज़रों से देखता है. बिकॉज हमारा दिमाग इवॉल्व हुआ है हमें अर्थ में सर्वाइव कराने के लिए, राइट, एंड वी थिंक एवरीथिंग फ्रॉम दैट लेंस. यूनिवर्स और लॉजिक भी उसी की रचना है, बिकॉज लॉजिक इज स्ट्रांगली लिंक्ड टू सर्वाइवेबिलिटी एंड इट इज प्रोबेबली लिंक्ड टू प्रेडिक्शन मेकिंग कैपेसिटी, जो हमें सर्वाइवल के लिए जरूरी है. बट यूनिवर्स इज नॉट लाइक, यूनिवर्स को क्यों कॉज एंड इफेक्ट पे चलना है भाई? यूनिवर्स को क्यों कॉज एंड इफेक्ट पे चलना है? यूनिवर्स कैन वर्क विदाउट कॉज एंड इफेक्ट एज वेल. इट्स जस्ट these systems that we understand are based on cause and effect, and that is 5%. So probably like वो 5% चीज़ें जो हम समझते हैं वो कॉज एंड इफेक्ट पे बेस्ड है, इसीलिए हम उसको समझ पा रहे हैं. और जो 95% चीज़ों को हम नहीं समझते हैं वो शायद अनस्टेबल सिस्टम है विद इन आवर यूनिवर्स, और इट कुड बी कि हमारा यूनिवर्स ही एक स्टेबल सिस्टम है और बाहर हाइपर स्पेस में बहुत सारे ऐसे यूनिवर्सेस हैं जो कि अनस्टेबल सिस्टम्स है, विच इज़ बियॉन्ड आवर लॉजिक एंड बियॉन्ड आवर कॉम्प्रीहेंशन, बिकॉज वॉट एवर कैन हैपन इज हैपनिंग. So it's like philosophical area.
Yeah, it's definitely philosophical and scientific. It's a very good inquiry. सबसे पहले मेरे पर्सपेक्टिव से यूनिवर्स स्टेबल सिस्टम नहीं है. यूनिवर्स इज नॉट स्टेबल. It is accelerating right now. It is expanding. The expansion is accelerating. There is more space-time that seems to be being created at every given point in time. यहाँ पर हमारे पर्सपेक्टिव से स्टेबिलिटी है.
Exactly. And it is a passing phase.
हम स्वयं एक अनस्टेबल सिस्टम है. We are around for a number of decades. Yeah. Hopefully, right? And then we are gone. Or we go back to where we came from. We came from the earth. So जो हमारे नज़रिए से हमारे पर्सपेक्टिव से जो लॉजिक है, दैट इज इंट्यूटिव लॉजिक, which is something that we see as part of our daily existence. But the real laws of physics are kind of very non-intuitive, counterintuitive.
Exactly.
Quantum mechanics is extraordinarily counterintuitive.
Exactly.
Even relativity,
right?
General relativity doesn't make any sense from
Earth is accelerating from all the directions.
Exactly.
How is
For
that
example,
possible?
in special relativity of length contraction, time dilation, it doesn't make any sense to our mind. But it's all part of the universe.
It's mathematics.
Exactly. 95% of the universe is dark. We know that there is gravity involved in that, which kind of is something we understand, but we understand the gravity, the mundane gravity on the surface of this small planet. We don't understand how gravity works beyond the planet, which is very weird.
Yes.
Right? It curves
and even
space.
at quantum levels.
Exactly. Quantum level पर तो gravity है कि नहीं, ये भी पता नहीं.
Graviton है कि नहीं, वही नहीं.
सबसे बड़ा प्रश्न तो ये कि समय क्या है? What is time?
Time is what? Special relativity अलग तरीके से आंसर कर रही है, और फिर general relativity अलग तरीके से आंसर कर रही है.
Look at how time is treated in quantum mechanics, in quantum field theory. It is an external classical parameter. It doesn't emerge out of the laws of quantum mechanics.
Exactly.
वो बाहर का external parameter.
Exactly.
So there are so many questions out there that we don't understand, and sometimes you have to use philosophy to try and make sense of it. Not in your equations, but mentally, if you want to make sense of it.
Get a perspective.
When we talk about quantum fluctuations, if you want to think of it in a certain way, अगर आपको एक पर्सपेक्टिव से देखना है, इट इज चीटिंग. क्यों चीटिंग है? यू आर चीटिंग हाइजेनबर्ग्स अनसर्टेनिटी प्रिंसिपल. देयर इज अ डेल्टा टी, डेल्टा ई, ऑल दैट. एज लॉन्ग यू कैन चीट एंड क्रिएट पार्टिकल्स as long as you give them back to nature within that particular time window of delta t.
Because the total energy of the field is zero at the end of the day. So they are vibrating, yet the energy is zero.
So you can create a particle,
plus minus.
If you create a particle and an equivalent antiparticle, if you recombine them, it becomes zero again.
Exactly.
And if if you do it within the delta t, you're not cheating the universe. So that is essentially, it's one way of looking at the quantum fluctuations at the quantum level. And there's complete chaos in vacuum, if you look at it from that perspective. And that actually is the basis, in a way, of quantum field theory. It's all fields. 26 fields that we are permeated with, and these fields are essentially infinite. They go to the ends of the universe.
Yeah.
So we are just taking baby steps in understanding physics. It's all theories. As long as the theory matches the observations and can make good predictions, it's a valid theory. But every theory is a work in progress.
Absolutely.
For example, general relativity has a huge issue. बहुत बड़ा issue है. हम जानते हैं कि वो उसमें कुछ गड़बड़ है. क्यों? It gives you infinities, which are called singularities.
Exactly. And
the singularity is division by zero. It doesn't mean that there is a singularity in the universe. It means your math is wrong.
Right.
It means your equations have a defect somewhere.
And basically, the concept of the theory also studies the curvature. But how would you study the curvature when the surface never rises up?
The problem is that the curvature becomes infinite.
Exactly.
And the density becomes infinite.
Exactly.
Which means you're dividing by zero, which means there is something wrong in your equation. आपके equations में कुछ गड़बड़ है. उसको ठीक करना है. That is where the next level, that's going to be the next iteration of the theory, a better theory.
Right.
And maybe it will happen when you combine perhaps general relativity with quantum
mechanics.
Yeah, but उसमें बहुत बड़े problems होते हैं right now.
Right.
We are unable to reconcile the two. There are huge issues. I mean, you can create a black hole. You can create a black hole using the equations of quantum mechanics, and the properties of the black hole are going to be different from that of a Schwarzschild black hole, which comes out of general relativity. Certain properties are different.
Right.
So that's the thing. You can't reconcile the two theories right now. So that is an area of research that is being pursued right now. Quantum gravity, अगर होगा कि नहीं हम जानते नहीं है. But yeah, there are so many interesting and fascinating problems that exist in physics that drive science forward, and that makes it so interesting.
Right. So absolutely, sir. Like universe के जो mysteries है आपने beautifully cover किया. अच्छा, like इससे पहले जो हम discuss कर रहे थे उसमें जैसे आपने कहा कि there is a difference between stable, like our like we humans and this universe is not stable. So over here, like stable or unstable systems का जो definition है, what I mean is from the perspective of a human being, of a human being's logic.
From the perspective of our lifetime.
Exactly.
हमारे lifetime वो stable है तो ठीक.
Yes. मतलब for things to come into being.
Yeah.
Logically. Right, so that is the definition of stable systems and unstable systems. वरना तो यूनिवर्स में हर चीज अनस्टेबल ही है. Like this is not that stability जो कि religion कहता है कि कि सब चीज एकदम बढ़िया है और ऐसे ही रहेगी. That no. मतलब stable in the sense कि everything is just right for us to exist in certain मतलब कुछ सर्टेन टाइम के लिए.
टाइम विंडो की बात अगर आप वाइड लेंस लेंगे, नैरो लेंस लेंगे, आपको अलग दिखेगा यूनिवर्स.
यस.
सिमिलरली व्हाट द टाइम विंडो दैट यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट.
राइट. सो उस हिसाब से ये स्टेबिलिटी जनरेट हो रही है, क्रिएट हो रही है, और ये स्टेबिलिटी का वास्ता हमारे कॉन्शियसनेस के साथ क्या है, दैट इज आई एम मोर फैसिनेटेड अबाउट. बिकॉज एक इंसान यूनिवर्स को कैसे समझ सकता है जबकि वो उसका दिमाग बना है सिर्फ इस वजह से, मतलब इस तरीके से कि वो लॉजिक को समझ सके और एट द सेम टाइम वो अपने आप को पृथ्वी पे सर्वाइव कर सके. Right, so there is some gap, right? Like, and there are different quotes as well. Like the universe is, I think, by Neil deGrasse Tyson. The universe is not obliged to make sense to us.
Yeah.
Right, and there were some previous scientists as well who had stated some similar quotes. So, kind of a little bit of inspiration is from there. The little bit of inspiration is from neuropsychology, from genetics, from evolutionary psychology, evolutionary biology. कि अर्थ कैसे बना है, ऑब्वियसली कॉस्मोलॉजी एंड क्वांटम फिजिक्स एज वेल. तो थोड़ा एंड काइंड ऑफ दिस एजम्पशन like holds true across these domains, but then obviously there are many other domains जो मैंने consider नहीं किया है. So probably like a philosophical maybe like एक direction कि आगे चल के maybe कुछ इसमें सच्चाई निकल सकता है. I don't know.
It's a very good question. How does our consciousness make sense of the universe and stability?
Exactly.
So the term that you used is very interesting, consciousness.
Yeah.
So consciousness is what exactly is consciousness? That's where philosophy and science come together.
Try to come together.
Yeah. The reason why I'm mentioning philosophy is because science does not have a definition of consciousness. How do I define what consciousness is? So if I were to try to make an attempt to define consciousness, let's say I have a black box that is conscious. So what does it mean to be conscious?
Right.
So one of the things, what are the characteristics of a consciousness. It means that it has a snapshot or an idea of the external universe internally.
Plus us.
Us internally. उस system के अंदर. It has memory of what happened in the past.
Yeah.
And it has some sense of time. So it's a very vague thing.
Yeah.
We can't even properly define what it means for a system to be conscious.
Exactly.
Right. How do you differentiate a computer from, let's say, a dog?
Yeah. Okay.
उनमें difference क्या है? So that also is something that it is still a work in progress. We don't have an idea of what it is. But consciousness seems to be something that is important in quantum physics, possibly. Consciousness causes collapse. It's one of the interpretations of quantum mechanics. Collapse of the wave function. Things like that. So it's a very fascinating area of study, and it's definitely something that exists. Consciousness एक चीज है. It is not some philosophical concept. It's something that exists. When we see something that is consciousness, we can recognize it immediately. If you see a dog, you know it's conscious. If you see a lion, you know it's conscious. If you see a snake, you know it's conscious. The degree of consciousness may be different. If you see a stone, you know it's not conscious. If you see a cup of coffee, you know it's not conscious. So we recognize it immediately when we see it, but we don't know how to define it. It's definitely a physical property. It's definitely something that exists, but science doesn't know how to treat it. We don't know whether it's physical, whether it's biological, whether it's chemical, where does it come from, what does it do. Huge mystery.
Right.
I think it is something that transcends all the domains, including philosophy.
Exactly. So, sir, there are some scientific theories. However, we need more clarity towards them. So, like this scientific theory, one scientist was there. I read this long before. So, it basically defined consciousness and also created levels out of it.
Okay.
So, for instance, like living beings who have not evolved that much, so they're still in the rudimentary stage of evolution, like a very simple structure. They have less consciousness, and gradually, so for instance, a fish would have less consciousness as compared to, let's say, a bird or a mammal, and then eventually a mammal. So he defined consciousness as something like how much information can you generate, and then can you create a feedback system of. Constant, because there are different lobes in the brain, and there is a huge feedback system in the circuitry. So they're different. So for instance, like if we talk about humans, there is this hippocampus and other areas as well which store memory. So some areas in the prefrontal cortex as well, short-term and long-term memory. And then there is your this amygdala and the limbic system, the brainstem, cerebellum, that creates the autonomic response, so which is the fight and flight response.
Yeah.
And then there is the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, which acts as a mediator of retrieving the information from your hippocampus and then passing it on to the insula, where the decision making is done. So essentially, insula gets two types of signals. One is from the reptilian brain, कि immediate कोई threat है कि नहीं. And then also from the prefrontal cortex, which is the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, and it coordinates with the hippocampus for that, to retrieve the information. And then it passes on to the insula, the insular cortex, which kind of makes a decision कि emotion को suppress करना है prefrontal cortex के logic से, या फिर emotions को हावी होने देना है और भागो. Like मतलब मैं adrenergic system जो है sympathetic nervous system, तो उसको आए message कि okay, it's time to run. So like this complex interplay wherein you have your own identity as well, which is neuroplastic. So every new sensation that you get is shaping your identity, and at the same time there are different other areas in the brain which are constantly creating a feedback mechanism. This is kind of like a consciousness, even though it's not totally clear. Like obviously we need more clarity on this theory as well. So that scientist has particularly said that there are different levels of consciousness. Humans are on the top level of consciousness,
as far as we know.
Yes, because our brain is, the morphology of our brain is much more developed than, let's say, something like a tadpole. So do you think there would be a metaphysical angle to it, or science all in itself can maybe in future be able to decipher it?
I think eventually when science advances enough, or maybe our intelligence advances enough, we may be able to make sense of it. The question is consciousness something that emerges out of complexity? I mean, for example, if you're a rock, there's nothing complex about it. It's a very simple quantum structure.
Yes, absolutely.
And maybe that's why there's no consciousness there. And our brain, as far as we know, is the most complex machine that exists in the universe.
Absolutely.
That we have come across thus far. And maybe it's this complexity that is giving rise to consciousness. So maybe consciousness is an emergent phenomenon. It's an emergent phenomenon. It emerges out of consciousness. That is one theory. There are other theories that are not quite scientific at all, which say that consciousness is a field that permeates the universe, and it gets focused in some places, which is clearly not a scientific theory. It's a metaphysical theory, like you're saying. So the jury is out there. We still don't know. It does look like it emerges out of the consciousness, the interplay of the neurons and all that. But once again,
nobody can say for certain.
Nobody can say for sure. I suppose one could create a different kind of system which also may witness consciousness. So at the end of the day, there are different approaches. One is the information theory approach, which is I think it's a good approach to see whether
scientific approach,
mathematical approach.
Yes,
to consciousness. So I would say that let's examine this from the scientific perspective exhaustively. Let's let the best minds come into this and see it. I think if our science advances far enough, we maybe perhaps be able to make sense of consciousness scientifically.
And then there are people like Elon Musk, like who are believing in this vision that, oh hey, we'll upload the entire consciousness and all the information from a brain onto a robot, and then eventually, or like we'll create some sort of artificial brain that is attached to the machine, the computer, so that we can preserve the consciousness and the information of a particular brain before dying.
I think you can definitely, in the future, eventually preserve the information. I am not sure you can preserve the consciousness. Let's do a thought experiment. We've seen Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
You go into this thing and then the person is transmitted somewhere else, transported.
Yeah.
So the atoms are dissociated over here and the same atoms are recreated over there. I think what you're creating is a new person there, and you're killing this person here. It's not the consciousness that is being transmitted over there. It's a copy of the consciousness that's being recreated in the destination. So I think this consciousness here is a unique consciousness. If you were to create a Star Trek kind of machine, the transporter or whatever it's called, beam me down there or something, beam me down, Scotty. You are actually creating a replica, a copy of the consciousness, not the exact same consciousness. And the person whose atoms are dissociating over here, that person dies. So I don't think you can actually copy the consciousness or transmit the consciousness. You can just copy the information. And the consciousness is an interplay of all the structures maybe of the brain. And if you just upload the data, it won't upload the consciousness.
But sir, then this would be based on the premise, if we are assuming that consciousness is not information. But if we somehow prove it, or if we somehow discover that, oh hey, consciousness is also information, it's just a sophisticated feedback system of the information, of interplay of different systems that are sharing the information in a particular fashion. So with that said, if we can transfer the information in the right way, so probably in theory there should be no difference whatsoever. If let's say if you're using the ship of Theseus logic, so there was this thought experiment, ship of Theseus, which they had done. I think some philosopher had done in the past. If I start removing each and every part of a ship and create a new ship, so all the parts of the ship has been transferred to this new ship, but then ultimately that particular ship, can I say that this is a new ship or what? Because this is new as well, but then at the end of the day, each and every part of it is of the old ship. So something like that. So if we kind of can say for certain that, oh hey, conscious is nothing but information at the basic level, because there are many scientific theories that hint kind of towards that. Our ultimate reality is nothing but information.
Information theory.
Yes, information theory. Yeah. And this has started propagated more in the late modern era. So since 21st century. Oh hey, everything is information. Even they talk about the black holes as well. And then there's holographic principle as well. Like universe, the main data center of the universe being somewhere outside the universe.
On the surface, on the outer surface.
Outer surface of the universe. But then at the same time, it's being translated over here.
So the thing is, It's quite possible that everything is information. It's also possible, like you were saying, that our consciousness is the interplay of the various systems and subsystems of the brain with the information that they contain. In that case, if you want to replicate the consciousness of a person, you will have to replicate the data in the exact same way it's stored in the brain, in the same structures.
Right.
If you put it on a hard drive, that's not the same structure as what you have here. So then you're just storing the data in a flat form or in a database. The brain is not simply a database. It's the interplay, the complex interplay of lots of different systems with chemicals and neurochemicals involved in that.
DNA expressions as well.
Exactly. There's so much more that we simply have no idea about. And all of that interplay is most likely giving rise to what we perceive as our consciousness. So if you want to replicate the consciousness itself in addition to the data, you will have to store it in something that looks exactly like the human brain with the same biology. Then it will work.
And same codings.
Same coding, the same encoding, the same
decoding
DNA
mechanisms.
also will have to be the same.
Yes, the RNA transcription and all of that stuff.
So then you may have an actual consciousness that's being replicated. Even then, it will be a copy of the shape of thesis, not the exact same shape.
If you look at it from like a philosophical angle, it would be a copy.
It will be a copy.
Yeah, but from a utilitarian perspective, it would be the same thing. So, sir, as we were talking about previously, that right now scientists are hard pressed. सब लोग इस चीज़ में लगे हुए हैं कि यार जनरल रिलेटिविटी जो कि एक मैक्रो पर्सपेक्टिव में यूनिवर्स को एक्सप्लेन करती है को हम कैसे हम क्वांटम फिजिक्स के साथ या फिर कोई दूसरे एक थियरी के साथ अब अभी तक तो क्वांटम फिजिक्स वो सबसे एक्यूरेट थियरी है जो बहुत ही एक्यूरेट प्रेडिक्शंस दे रही है द स्टैंडर्ड मॉडल हम उसको यूनाइट कैसे करें लाइक माइक्रो एक्सप्लेनेशन वाली थियरी और मैक्रो एक्सप्लेनेशन वाली थियरी को हम कैसे यूनाइट करें सो देयर आर डिफरेंट कंटेंडर्स ऑफ थियरी ऑफ एवरीथिंग एज यू टोल्ड दिस क्वांटम स्ट्रिंग फील्ड थियरी जिसमें भी वेरिएशंस है अलग अलग डिमेंशंस को लेके मैथमेटिक्स कर रहे हैं देन देयर इज लूप क्वांटम ग्रेविटी देयर इज द मल्टीवर्स थियरी देयर इज द एम थियरी इन स्ट्रिंग फील्ड थियरी बोसोनिक स्ट्रिंग फील्ड थियरी सुपर स्ट्रिंग थियरी सो व्हाट डू यू थिंक लाइक व्हाट्स योर गट राइट नाउ कि इनमें से कोई थियरी क्या सच में उभर के निकल सकती है जो कि यूनाइट करे बिकॉज द मेजर प्रॉब्लम ओवर हियर इज इवन ग्रेविटी को लेकर कि ग्रेविटी एक फोर्स है कि नहीं वो भी न्यूटोनियन मैकेनिक्स में और आइंस्टाइनियन मैकेनिक्स में दैट इज अ बिग डिबेट right ki gravity is a force or not but then quantum field theory the standard model of the quantum field theory predicts ki there has to be a particle called the graviton and which we haven't found yet so is Einstein right over here or is quantum field theory right over here or there are some missing links which these theory of everything will eventually fill
There is definitely a lot missing so you are right we don't know there was this question of whether gravity is a force or whether it's just curvature and clearly the Einstein theory is superior to the Newtonian theory.
Exactly.
Clearly.
Yes.
It's a huge leap forward compared to the Newtonian theory. So from Newton's perspective, gravity was a force, an action at a distance force. But Einstein showed that it's the curvature of space-time that gives rise to what we feel is gravity. So the curvature of so mass tells space how to curve and the curvature of space-time tells mass how to move. That is geometrodynamics or the general theory of relativity. Now that is a macroscopic theory. Large-scale universe, the large-scale behavior of the universe and the mass within is very well predicted using general relativity. But at the micro level, we have no idea how gravity emerges. Clearly, gravity needs to emerge from something. कहाँ से emerge हो रहा है वो हम जानते हैं.
Force carrying particle.
So then physicists have speculated or hypothesized or theorized that there should be a graviton, the gauge boson that will carry the force of gravity. But that particle is most likely so small that it's almost impossible. It is inconceivable how we would be able to detect a particle of that size. Because you would need a particle detector the size of Jupiter or something. To be able to detect something that small. So if you look at today's capabilities, it is impossible to even detect or even think of detecting something as small as the graviton. So as of right now, there are multiple theories. We can think of these theories in the number of dimensions that they give you. So for example, Newtonian theory, it has 3 dimensions, length, breadth, height. General relativity has 4 dimensions, length, breadth, height and time. Then you have other theories like various flavors of string theory. You have Kaluza-Klein theory, which says 5 dimensions.
Yes, Kaluza string theory.
Then you have standard the 10 dimensional and 11 dimensional string theory.
Super string.
superstring theory. Then you have bosonic string theory, which says 26 dimensions.
Oh, wow.
So there are lots of different mathematical models that give you that require different number of dimensions. But the test of the quality of a theory is what predictions does it make, and is it how falsifiable it is. Testability. Yeah. So I think one of the good theories, one of the strong theories, candidate theories right now is loop quantum gravity, which talks about space-time foam and the loops and all that.
Gravity loops.
Yeah, which tells you how gravity emerges from space-time, from the quantum level and all. But I think it has still a long way to go before it is testable, and we can actually see it making predictions that we can test. So I think right now the best theory, I think most likely is yet to come. I think right now what's happened in the past few years, I can say this very happily, there are no consequences for me for saying this, that the world was hijacked for 50-60 years by a string theory mafia.
Okay.
Every single US physics department was taken over by string theorists. Okay. All the funding was going there. If you want to do a PhD in theoretical physics, you have to do it in string theory, otherwise funding nahi milega. And the entire field was hijacked by the mafia, the string theory mafia. Abhi India mein bhi thoda bahut string theory mafia hai, but so what we need is new approaches. In 1905, in the first 2-3 decades of the 20th century, there was this efflorescence of new ideas that nobody had come across before. We were taking new ideas seriously, even though they were very strange, like the quantum idea that there's a photon, a packet of light called a photon. It's absorbed and emitted by electrons, and that's the quantum jumps and all. It's a ridiculous idea, but that's how the world changed. So we need to be able to again be able to countenance such ideas and take them seriously. Right now there is this group think by everybody has to think in just one way, the string theory way.
Yes.
There is a crying need for new ideas.
Absolutely.
For lateral thinking, for out of the box thinking, and we need to start taking ridiculous ideas a little more seriously, at least start considering them, and try to see their merits and demerits purely on the basis of science, not on the basis of groupthink. So right now I think that the best theory is yet to come. Right now we don't have the answers, but it's a good thing because it tells you there's so much to be done, so much interesting science to be done.
Right. So there are two things over here. One is you believe so that eventually we'll be able to unify both the perspectives, right?
I hope so. I think that we should be able to do it.
Okay, awesome. And the other thing is, like what you said about science, like scientists, they agree that, we haven't found the answers to every question yet.
Oh, absolutely.
And this is so humbling, I believe.
Yes.
Right? Because not only it raises the bar of humanity to a greater extent, that, we have so much to learn, and along with that the civilization also advances, but also from a knowledge seeking perspective, this is the right approach.
It is.
Because I've seen like many people, they say that this is a vulnerability of science. This is a vulnerability of science. Science always changes. And science doesn't have answer to everything.
Okay.
And then I say, if the answer to everything is just put in one entity and say, this is the answer to everything. So science also has that answer.
So let me explain what changes.
Yeah.
It is the cutting edge, the bleeding edge that changes.
Yeah.
There is proper known science.
The fundamentals.
The fundamentals that give us all this technology.
Right.
It is repeatable, it is predictable.
Absolutely.
All these instruments, they work. We know they will work. Our laptops work, our watches work, our cell phones work. Everything works, and it works predictably. It doesn't. It's not uncertain.
Right.
So that tells you that science, when you understand science enough to make it to
create technology,
to convert that into technology, then it's going to work. So that tells you that science actually works. All the technology is testament to the fact that science works.
Right.
It is only at the cutting edge between what we know and what we don't know that there is uncertainty, and that's where progress is made, and that's where new discoveries are made. It doesn't mean that what is already understood will change tomorrow.
That is wrong.
That is wrong.
Yeah.
So we have to understand where science is changing. We are making new progress eventually in certain directions about the things we don't know. 95% of the universe is not known to us, but that doesn't matter over here.
Yeah.
Over here, what matters, we are able to handle it properly.
Absolutely.
So we know that medicine works. You have malaria, you take quinine, you're going to get cured. cured. You have something else, if you have a fracture, we know how to solve it. That is science. That is settled science.
Absolutely.
Okay, that is not going to change tomorrow. Okay, kal kuch aur karo. Don't do a splint, do some other voodoo or magic. No, it's not like that.
Right.
It's always going to work that way. Dentistry works. Glasses, if you have eyesight problems, you wear glasses. There is so much that works, and that is the testament and the proof of the fact that science works. It's only in certain areas that we don't understand things where progress is being made. It doesn't mean that tomorrow the fundamentals of science will be different. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, sir, that these people would usually use their cell phones and type comments that, oh, hey, science doesn't work. Science is stupid.
Yeah, right.
So using the technology that has been given by science, and then saying that science doesn't work.
The problem is that these people aren't stupid.
Yeah.
The problem is that the education system hasn't given them a proper fundamental grounding in the basic principles of science.
Right.
I believe most people are very intelligent, but most people have been misled by the education system. The education system is the biggest culprit. Our teachers themselves are clueless, and they are clueless because they were taught things the wrong way.
Absolutely.
We are taught to memorize things, not to understand things. We are not taught the first principles. We don't even know what is first principles thinking. You know, so these are the issues. I think most people have, you know, they mean well. Most people mean well.
Absolutely.
And I think most people have the intelligence, but they are made
and are curious as well.
They are curious as well. But the thing the education does is that it, first of all, you lose all self-confidence. You feel you know nothing. Your teachers always make you feel like you're stupid. Most teachers, not all.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And that's why you have all these confused people, clueless people who come out into society, young adults and all, and they don't know what to believe, what not to believe. If somebody says something on a YouTube channel, they'll believe it, or ye sach bol raha hai, jhoot bol raha hai. How do we know? They don't even know how to fact check very basic information. So that is the fault of the education system. It's not the people's fault.
Exactly.
It's not their fault they're clueless, you know?
Right. No, 100%. So I totally believe in this. And I think gradually, like, because of the content available now, that wasn't available in the schools.
Yes.
I believe gradually there is a shift, and we also want to bring this revolution, I would say, wherein, like, this is my goal, like this is one of the goals because of which I had started this YouTube journey. So initially I had this thought ki yaar, science has helped me so much in my life to become who I am today. But I'm from a commerce background.
I see.
Right? And I'm not even a graduate of commerce.
Okay.
So I just did for 2 years, and then third year I was about to give the exam. This YouTube thing clicked. And I was like, यार दो ऑप्शन है आपके पास. एक जगह पे आपको एजुकेशन सिस्टम की तरह सहारे चलना है, दूसरी जगह पे आपको प्रैक्टिकल नॉलेज मिल रहा है. About something that you care. So that was the point. But then, like, when I was young, so I had a lot of insecurities. I had lots of problems. Like physical insecurities, mental problems, and then I had a very bad attachment thing as well. Like, you know, so like lots of problems. Like I can't even say about that.
Okay.
I was even in depression for quite a while.
I see. Yes.
But then gradually, I had this loop that had developed basically. Ki every time I used to feel sorry about myself, and I used to blame myself for the situation I was in. So this blaming, self-doubting, and this has created a loop. कहते हैं ना, दर्द में भी मजा होता है.
अच्छा.
तो वो दर्द से मेरे को बहुत मजा मिलता था, इतना कि वो एडिक्टिव हो चुका था. और एक पॉइंट आया था, एक रियलाइजेशन आया था कि and that time I was very superstitious as well. Very superstitious. And that's why I'm anti-superstitions. Because I believe कि अंधविश्वास आपको ना अंदर से खोखला कर देता है और आपको कमज़ोर बना देता है. तो अंधविश्वास की वजह से क्या होता है कि आप उन चीज़ों पे आस लगा के बैठते हो, होप लगाते हो, जो चीज़ से आपके लाइफ में कोई बदलाव नहीं आने वाला, बल्कि आप में एंग्जाइटी, आप में स्ट्रेस और आप में मेंटल प्रॉब्लम्स और बढ़ेगा.
Right.
So my situation was like that. Maybe I had interpreted religion in a wrong way, maybe, because बहुत सारे लोग हैं who are fine. But I was very religious, but I was dogmatic kind of religious.
अच्छा.
Right? मतलब चीज़ों में बिलीव करना कि यार आज मैंने ये श्लोकास नहीं पढ़े तो आज मेरा बुरा दिन जाएगा, या आज दशा दिशा सही नहीं है तो प्रॉब्लम आ जाएगी, एग्ज़ाम से पहले मैंने ये नहीं किया, ये जब के नहीं गया तो मेरा एग्ज़ाम अच्छा नहीं जाएगा. नाउ यू कैन इमेजिन हाउ मच स्ट्रेस दैट क्रिएट्स, बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली यू आर फोकस्ड मोर ऑन एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स एंड नॉट वॉट यू कैन डू विद इन. यू आर ऑलवेज लाइक, यू हैव दिस सेल्फ डाउट कि यार मैंने तो अच्छी पढ़ाई की है लेकिन ये सही नहीं है तो शायद मेरा एग्जाम अच्छा नहीं जाएगा, एंड यू आर कॉन्स्टेंटली थिंकिंग अबाउट दैट, एंड दैट एंग्जाइटी क्रिएट्स मोर एंग्जाइटी, एंड all that it does is creates a lot of stress, and stress lowers down your self-esteem. Then one fine day, like I was thinking about this, कि यार तू ये लूप में बार बार घूमता है. Every time you have good days, you have bad days, you have good days, you have bad days. कब तक ये चलेगा? When will it stop?
Right.
That was the moment when I discovered, or when I would say contemplated about a scientific approach.
Okay.
I had this realization कि यार अगर मैं अपनी लाइफ को चेंज नहीं करूंगा तो मेरी लाइफ शायद चेंज नहीं होगी कभी. I have to take efforts. And then from there I started researching a lot more about science, कि चीज़ें कैसे काम करती है, what is confidence, what is depression, what is insecurity, what everything. I started to educate myself about my problems. And I was lucky that information was there. Right. So as Elon Musk says, today a common man has access to so much information that probably people, the elites and the aristocrats in the 1980s didn't have.
Yeah, right.
Today that much information is available. It depends what information are you consuming. So that was the changing point, and that is why science for me is a way of life. It's not like ki, it's not an academic kind of thing. It's more like science helps me to direct my life in a better place. Science helps me to get to understand myself better, to serve the community better, and to give my life and other people's life a good direction as well. To create a win-win kind of situation for everyone.
Yes.
So that humanity could thrive. So I believe this mindset should be out there.
Definitely.
To the youngsters. So, sir, have you had a similar experience? What was the reason you came into the science field? You mentioned about curiosity, but over here, for me, more than curiosity, it was helplessness.
Okay.
That brought me towards science. और helplessness के साथ फिर उसके बाद जब मैंने scientific principles को utilize किया, तो मेरी life change होने लग गई, and I started feeling more powerful. Because it's no more about कि मैं क्या करूँ, मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकता, मेरे हाथ में कुछ नहीं है. It's all about मैं कर सकता हूँ. And this creates a momentum. Like आप जब भी एक चीज़ अपने आप में believe करते हो, so it creates an upward spiral.
Yes.
You say कि यार मैं ये कर सकता हूँ, it is in my power, it is in my action. Then you take steps, you get result. You take steps, you get result, and all the while your dopamine and serotonin levels are going through the roof. Because you are feeling more motivated.
Yes.
Now you're feeling in control of things. And this changed my life forever. Right. And that is why I became such big promoter of science कि मैंने ये सोचा कि यार आगे चल के ऐसा कोई मिशन करना है जिसमें ये जो चीज़ है ये हर किसी तक फैलाई जाए. Like हर बच्चे को हम ये बताएं कि यार science is not a subject. It is an approach, it is a mindset, it is how you look at life, it is how you engineer your life, how you architect your life. So आपके केस में ऐसा कभी था?
मेरा तो शुरुआत से ही साइंटिफिक अप्रोच रहा है. I don't know what it is, why it is that way. My father is a scientist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I grew up essentially on a university campus. I had access to a library, university library. और मैं हमेशा, for me reading was fun. Most people के लिए reading is like a painful thing.
Painful.
For me reading was fun. So in my free time, if I was lucky enough, I would go to the library and read some stuff, whatever I felt like. So मेरा शुरुआत से ही science has been something that's part of me. It's been natural. I always was curious about the stars and what happens out there. वहाँ पर aliens होते हैं क्या, that sort of thing. बचपन में ऐसी बहुत सारे thoughts आते हैं.
Right.
So I always had this affinity for science. I never had a conversion to a scientific way of thinking. It was always part of what I was. But I agree with you जो आपने कहा कि science should be a way of life. And let me give you a very good example of how science should be a way of life.
Yeah.
We all have problems in life.
Absolutely.
How are we going to solve the problems?
Yeah.
Are we going to solve them through emotions and through tantrums, or through doing some
through self-doubt, self-loathing?
Or are we going to solve the problem logically?
Yes.
Now, what is the logical way of solving a problem? There is a problem. How do you solve a problem in physics? कि भाई ये problem है. How has such work been done in the past?
Define the problem.
What are the laws and the principles that affect this thing? And then let's find a solution using all those laws and principles.
Right.
Similarly, if you have any problem in life, you have to take a logical, scientific approach.
Yes.
The principles and the procedure of solving a scientific problem or a life problem is essentially the same if you want to do it the right way.
Absolutely.
So the easiest way to solve a problem is to use the scientific approach, the scientific methodology.
Right.
Unfortunately, something that's not taught to us in school, the scientific approach. But that is the way I have approached all problems in life, including for example, if you want to answer historical questions, an 800-year-old problem that was never answered was why did Genghis Khan refuse to invade India when he was at India's doorstep? Kyun वापस चला गया? So look at the logic. I mean, look at the events that surround this particular thing, circumstances and all that, and look at his motivations, what he wanted in life. So if you take a logical approach, you can get answers to lots of questions.
Absolutely.
And you can solve lots of problems. So I think it's the scientific approach and the scientific methodology can be applied to problems in economics, in finance, in life, in relationships, in everything.
Right.
It's just about using the same approach.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think I would encourage everybody to use this approach. I am not saying you should not be religious. Whoever is religious should be religious.
Yes.
I have absolutely nothing against religion. I have the greatest amount of respect for the culture of my ancestors.
So you are one of the promoters, I would say.
I am a promoter because
absolutely.
I believe in it.
Yes.
Am I religious? I certainly am very happy to go to temple and I do fast on Shivaratri. Yeah. And I am not a disbeliever in God. I would say I don't know if there's God or not.
Okay. Yeah, that's the stand of science.
I personally have never seen anything supernatural. I would really, nothing would make me happier than God existing and benevolent God existing.
Right.
But I personally have never seen it. So
but it's not unfalsifiable as well.
It's not unfalsifiable. Yeah, that's what. It's So I have absolutely nothing against religion. Religion, what is the purpose of religion in life? It gives you a good, solid grounding in ethics and morality.
Absolutely.
Which science cannot give you. Science just gives you what happens and why it happens, how it happens. But religion, especially, it's up to you what religion you want to follow.
Yes.
But every religion and every religious path will give you certain grounding in morality and ethics.
Yes.
And that is something everybody needs.
And meaning of life as well.
Meaning of life also.
Yeah.
So even if you are, let's say, an atheist, there are lots of atheist Hindus.
Yeah.
But Hinduism, for example, is an example of one religious path, Hinduism. It gives you a certain path in life. कि भाई ये अच्छा है, ये अच्छा नहीं है, ये धर्म है, ये अधर्म है.
Yes.
And I think that's a good thing, even if you don't believe in God. So I think that you need the scientific approach to solving problems in life.
Yes.
And you need a solid moral and ethical grounding that comes from religion. Now it's up to you what mix and match you want to do it.
Perfectly said.
Yeah.
Sir. Perfectly
That's
said.
how it goes.
Yeah. It's just that like when people develop these religious egos, then it becomes problematic. Because I've seen
Dogmatism is the problem.
Dogmatism, right?
Yes.
And when people who don't have the knowledge or who don't want to search for the knowledge, they just want to label everything कि यार ये सारी चीज़ें तो पहले थी, ये सब तो है, ये सब विज्ञान तो किताबों से ही निकला है. So I believe कि that is religious ego. बिकॉज वो क्या करता है, वो लोगों को आलसी बनाता है और लोगों को ये बोलता है कि भाई हमें कुछ काम नहीं करना चाहिए. देखो अल्टीमेटली चेंज इज द ग्रेटेस्ट ऑफ द थिंग्स, राइट? चेंज इज समथिंग. Change, like there was a time when people used to worship Egyptian gods, Roman gods, Greek gods, Aztec, Mayan. Where are these gods now?
They've been destroyed by other cultures.
Exactly. So what you said, कि religion का purpose is to give you a strong grounding in ethics and morality.
Yes.
And this type of behavior goes against that. Where are you grounded? Like you're not grounded. Grounded means that you're humble enough to agree कि क्या चीज़ें थी नहीं थी. So I believe कि people need to have that differentiation कि यार our culture is good. It's extremely valuable. It had a lot of knowledge, wealth of knowledge, and we are proud of our culture. But please don't spread such messages that like the supremacy messages or something कि हमें कुछ और करने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं, हमें अपडेट करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, सारी चीज़ें तो पहले से ही लिखी हुई थी. और if you are saying anything otherwise, then you are microscopic, then you are not broad-minded enough. Right? I believe this is the reason why many people are not able to acquire knowledge, because वो उनकी curiosity को stifle कर दे रहा है, वो उनके quest and thirst of knowledge को stifle कर दे रहा है, because back of the mind आपको ऐसा लगता है कि यार ये सारे सवालों के जवाब तो है, right? So that time you lose your groundedness. I believe treat science as science and treat religion as religion, because science का काम है knowledge acquire करना, science का काम है objective cause and effect based predictions करना और हमारी life को बेहतर बनाना, और जो meaning और abstract जो concepts है वो काम religion या philosophy कर सकता है, जहाँ पे वो आपके meaning of life हो गया, आपके ethics हो गया, आपकी morality को define करेगा. So precisely said by you. I also believe in the same thing. Yeah. So sir, like talking about God, you said that God can be there or cannot it's also possible that he may not be there, and it's also possible he may be there.
A multiverse may or may not exist.
Exactly.
God,
We don't know that.
I hope God is there.
Yeah.
Nobody will be happier than me if there is a good, benevolent God out there.
Absolutely, yeah. That is like, it's so comforting to believe in that.
Yes, definitely.
But then at the end of the day, it's also important to not get blinded by dogmas.
Because
right?
we don't have the data. We don't have the evidence.
Absolutely.
It's a non-falsifiable theory.
Right.
So, I mean, all our culture has believed in God, in various gods and goddesses, and a supreme God as well.
Yes.
The Nasadiya Sukta of the Rig Veda says that we don't know how the universe was formed. Did it come out of darkness? Did it come out of some fluid in the darkness? Who made the universe? And if somebody made the universe, who made him? It's a very agnostic approach to take in the Rig Veda itself.
The same question which we were discussing now.
That is the scientific methodology.
Absolutely.
Of questioning the origins.
Right.
Of wondering whether if a God made the universe, then who made the God? So that is our philosophy. That is our heritage. And we have to remember that.
Yeah.
The questioning heritage, the heritage of questioning, the heritage of inquiry. Yeah. It's been part of our culture to inquire and make progress that way.
So Hindu culture and other cultures as well out there are full about questions, right? Like if you...
Not all cultures, but let's...
Yeah. Like if you look at it from a right perspective.
Yeah.
If you, interpret it in a right way, I would say.
Yeah.
Because your interpretation also has power. It's your perception of reality.
Yes.
Like if you want to look at the glass and label it half empty or half full, that's up to you.
Up to you.
Yeah. But so, sir, like even there's a science theory called the simulation hypothesis. It's not a theory, but it's a hypothesis.
Yeah.
It somewhere directs in that direction only.
Yeah.
कि यार हो सकता है कोई हमसे advanced beings हो जो हमें like जिन्होंने ये पूरा simulation create किया हुआ है. So yeah, that's definitely not unfalsifiable, I would say.
For example, who made the universe and who made him, right? So let's say we have a universe. We know we inhabit a certain universe. We know how far we can see in it. It is governed by a bunch of laws, some of which we understand, some of which we don't understand. Now imagine you have a powerful enough computer, a supercomputer,
yes,
with a billion cores, let's say, which work in parallel, in tandem. Okay, and the more powerful your computer is, the better a simulation you can create in it. For example, if you want to simulate a weather system, you can simulate that in a supercomputer. If you want to simulate a toy universe, you can simulate that in a supercomputer, and you can program the laws of physics into it.
Absolutely.
Now, what if you want to program different laws of physics? You can do that too.
Yeah.
And if your computer is powerful enough, you can simulate something as big as this.
Yeah.
Right?
And
so the question is,
the laws could be something like nobody can move, like nothing physical that has mass can move at a speed greater than speed of light. This is a law.
It's up to you. You can code whatever you want in it. You can code limits into it, hard limits, like c, the speed of light. You can code the quantum code into that. H, itna hi rahega. You can code the various the properties of the
properties of
quantum constants.
Fields. कितने electron mass units का ये रहेगा. अपना एक particle होगा.
So it's like you're a game designer. You're designing a game universe.
Right.
And if you have a powerful enough computer, you can design an entire universe like this and simulate a universe inside your computer. So from that logical perspective, which makes a whole lot of sense, it's entirely possible that this universe that we inhabit is a simulation inside someone's computer,
created by some
hyper intelligent geeky kid somewhere who lives in a different universe.
Right.
A nerd somewhere who is designing a universe.
Yes.
And what if that person pulls the plug? हो गया, चलो आज का हो गया. Let's do it. Let's try again tomorrow.
Right. And as much as absurd that may sound, but according to science, that might actually be true.
It makes a whole lot of sense, actually.
Absolutely.
So that may be the God we're talking about.
Yeah. And he should be benevolent. That's what we'll just hope for that.
Don't pull the plug.
Right. So, sir, like talking about this God thing only, like taking this conversation, do you believe a person can be atheist, which is that he doesn't believe in God?
Yeah.
But can he be moral at the same time as well?
Definitely. There is an entire atheistic philosophy school of thought in Hinduism called Charvaka.
Right.
So the Charvakas are complete materialists. They don't believe in God. They don't believe in any of these things. They believe that jo dikhta hai wo hai. The purpose of life is to have a good life, enjoy life, enjoy the fruits of the universe,
right,
and have fun.
Yes.
But it is still part of Hinduism, and it still has the ethics and morality of Dharma.
Okay.
Right? So it is entirely possible for a person to be an atheist and still follow a virtuous, rightful path, a dharmic path, or any other religious path that you want to. It's your choice. But certain religions don't allow atheism. I mean, in some religions, you're not allowed to be an atheist. You have to believe in God, their God, and all that. But in the dharmic paths, you can be an atheist. So it's up to the path that you have chosen for yourself. Certain paths, like the dharmic umbrella path, the dharmic path, you can be a complete atheist and still have ethics and morality and the proper way of life according to that path.
Yeah, absolutely. There are different researches done on this as well. So there was this one research done which the data which they got was like कि अगर एक civilization develop हो रही है, मतलब it's underdeveloped kind of, वो टाइम पे एक धर्म के इन्फ्यूजन से लोगों में मोरालिटी थोड़ा सा बढ़ता है. धर्म इन्फ्यूज किया, थोड़ा बढ़ता है. लाइक इट्स नॉट लाइक स्टेटिस्टिकली वेरी लार्ज नंबर, बट इट्स स्लाइटली, थोड़ा सा मोरालिटी बढ़ता है. बट व्हेन यू टॉक अबाउट डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज लाइक लेट्स से द स्कैंडिनेवियन कंट्रीज, तो वहाँ पर दे आर वन ऑफ द मोस्ट एथिस्टिक कंट्रीज. वहाँ पे जो पॉपुलेशन है ग्रेटली ज़्यादा लोग हैं जो एथिस्ट है, बट वहाँ पर क्राइम रेट्स भी ऑल टाइम लो है.
See, crime and atheism, I'm not sure there is a correlation.
Yes,
it
absolutely.
depends on how.
No, but
well
people think that.
I'll tell you something.
Yeah.
You will find that some of these nations where you have extremely high rates of atheism,
Atheism.
Atheism.
Okay.
They also have very high suicide rates.
Oh yeah, yes. Japan, for instance.
Japan also, there are lots of atheists nowadays.
Yes.
Historically, it was a Shinto Buddhist country.
Yeah.
But today you have a lot of atheists there, and you have very high suicide rates. There are other countries examples also.
Right.
There seems to be a correlation with atheism and high suicide rates. So see, suicide is when you feel like you have no options left, no hope left.
Absolutely.
And life has no meaning anymore. What gives life meaning? A religious or spiritual or philosophical path.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that atheism is always the right way. You can be an atheist, but if you have the right groundedness in life and the meaning of life and all that, then you'll be fine. But without that, your life will eventually end up being meaningless, and you will not know कि भाई हम क्या कर रहे हैं जीवन में, जीवन का अर्थ क्या है, purpose क्या है, what's the point of whatever I'm doing.
Right.
So and that also seems to have some correlation with depression. Depression.
Yes.
I don't know what is the definition of depression. Maybe it means that you have no hope for the future.
Yes.
I think that is depression.
Yes.
I mean, you said you were depressed once, right?
Yeah. So for me, depression was like it looked like everything looked dark, bleak, and everything looked like there's no meaning. So my depression was had come from a particular girl.
Okay.
Like, from relationship, and that relationship was that was kind of one-sided.
Okay.
That was for like 5 years.
Okay.
But then I was getting mixed signals.
Okay.
So we were in a relationship, and then we were not, and then mixed signals.
I see.
So the more you invest and the more mixed signals you get, the more you get attached to it.
Okay.
And the other person was not attached. So for me, and I was a kid back then. So I didn't have this huge macroscopic perspective of the world.
Of course.
Yes. I didn't have that abundance mindset. I had a very scarcity mindset. So back then, what it felt like was, I would always question, and I would always have this realization that if not her, then nothing.
Okay.
Like there is nothing, there is no future that
beyond
I can. There is no future beyond. So it's like you're staring at a tunnel and you cannot see anything.
I see.
So you don't have any option.
So it's hopelessness.
And I was even contemplating some crazy stuff.
Okay. So there you go. Depression and these things.
Yes.
They seem to have a very strong correlation.
But then, sir, like that time I was a decent enough theist. So it was not exactly that the theism or the religion was adding any influence over me. So probably this could be one of the justifications for this correlation. Probably that if you believe in religion, you also believe in afterlife.
Yes.
And probably you believe that the afterlife would be better than what I am living today.
Okay.
Probably one of the correlations, and maybe that influences this particular behavior. But then
For example, in the dharmic paths, there is no afterlife, there is a reincarnation eventually, based on your karma.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're going to have heaven and plentiful stuff over there and grapes and wine and stuff like that. It's not like that.
Yeah.
Eventually you will be recycled into a new body and you will start a new life.
But then there are some philosophies that say ki, like the Hindu, of the Hindu dharma, that after the Manushya Yoni, like you will reach the Swarg Dham, the Vaikuntha Dham and all that.
That's another entire beginning of existence.
Yes.
You will have reincarnations there also. It's quite complex and all. So there are different levels. Like in gameplay, there are levels and all.
Right.
You go to the next level and there's more you can do there.
Exactly.
That sort of thing.
Right. So probably that could be one of the reasons. Right. But yeah, that's how depression basically felt. So I believe that what religion is doing. So for instance, like right now, I am not entirely very religious, but I am very philosophical.
Right.
So I believe in philosophies, and philosophies for me are like tools, depending upon what phase of the life I am in.
Right.
So for instance, like I juggle between, let's say, Stoicism and this Epicureanism. So Epicureanism is like kind of like Charvak philosophy from Hindi, from the Hindu dharma, and this Stoicism is more like living a life full of duty, virtues, and responsibility.
Okay.
So happiness for you is living a virtuous life. It's not the emotional spike that you get when you consume something or when you enjoy.
It's about doing the right thing.
It's about doing the right thing, the virtuous thing, which is duty, responsibility, justice, and all that stuff. And Epicureanism is like Charvak, even though it has been, people have criticized that a lot, but it's not like that. Like जो उसका जो धारणा है आज के टाइम पे, लोग ऐसा बिलीव करते हैं कि एपिक्यूरियनिज्म का मतलब होता है कि अपनी लाइफ को बस ईट ड्रिंक एंड बी मैरी एक्सेसिवली, बट दैट्स नॉट इट. सो इट्स मोर अबाउट कंट्रोल्ड प्लेजर्स. तो वो प्लेजर्स में इन्वॉल्व करो जो प्लेजर्स आगे जाके आप पेन क्रिएट नहीं करते. सिर्फ वही प्लेजर्स में इन्वॉल्व करो, बट एट द सेम टाइम यू हैव टू इन्वॉल्व योर सेल्फ इन सम पेन एज वेल दैट क्रिएट प्लेजर्स फॉर यू. In the long run. So like two different school of thoughts, but ultimately the thing is I keep on juggling between them depending upon what phase of life I'm in.
Okay.
So religious philosophy का जो काम है, और दोनों बहुत grounded रखते हैं. For example, I take the best values from Stoicism, because Stoicism, even though it is a theist kind of philosophy, because back then the Romans believed in God, right? So it is a theistic philosophy, but then I minus that. But I take all the good virtues of it. And then talking about Epicureanism, I realize this कि यार ये यूनिवर्स 13.8 बिलियन साल पहले बना था और आगे भी बिलियंस ऑफ साल तक ये चलते रहेगा, और उसके बीच में सिर्फ ये 70 साल की ज़िंदगी हमें मिली है, वो भी एक ऐसे इकोसिस्टम में जो कि कॉन्स्टेंटली ट्रांसफॉर्म हो रहा है. So that probably makes our life the most valuable thing in this entire universe. Because इतने 13.8 साल पुराने बिलियन साल पुराने यूनिवर्स और जो आगे तक कंटिन्यू करते रहेगा, उसमें सिर्फ 70 years we have got. And we have to do everything that we can in this 70-year time window. So by common sense, अगर कोई चीज़ इतनी scarce है, so that has to be the most valuable thing ever, right? So our life is the most valuable thing. And if you just live it, if you just live a life that is full of just ambition, because ultimately I also believe कि ultimately देखो इतिहास के पन्ने भी कुछ सालों के बाद या तो बदल दिए जाएंगे या तो वो फट जाएंगे. Because इंसान कितना ही जी लेगा, और कितने ही 1000 साल, 2000, 3000, 4000 साल, मैक्स टू मैक्स 20,000 साल कोई आपको याद रखेगा. बट उसके बाद क्या? 20,000 साल इज नथिंग व्हेन यू टॉक अबाउट द यूनिवर्सल टाइम फ्रेम. इट्स नॉट इवन अ ब्लिंक ऑफ आई. So ultimately, it gives you that sense of purpose, it gives you sense of ambition, it drives you forward, it makes you feel better. But ultimately, उतना मेहनत मत करो और उतना ज़्यादा अपने आप को स्ट्रगल मत कराओ अगर आपको मज़ा नहीं आ रहा है तो. Because there are two types of work, right? So there are people, like for example, creating videos for me is मज़ा,
yes.
But किसी एक पर्सन को एज अ जॉब दे दिया जाए ये, तो उसको मज़ा नहीं आ रहा.
मज़ा नहीं आएगा.
बट अगर वो पर्सन just because he wants to become a millionaire or he wants to become popular or he wants to become whatever, if he do this और वो अपने आप को ये याचना देगा, तो उसके लिए उसकी प्रीशियस चीज़ तो उसने गवा दी ना.
Yes, totally.
So that's why I keep on balancing between perspectives because I feel कि philosophies का काम आपको उस वक्त के हिसाब से, उस समय के हिसाब से या उस circumstances के हिसाब से आपको एक right mindset देना है.
Yeah.
So talking about religious philosophy, sir, that correlation, like coming back to that, so वो correlation में ऐसा था कि जो developed countries है उसमें kind of इतना नहीं दिखा था. मतलब कि जो वो लोग एथिस्ट होने के बाद भी दे आर वेरी मॉरल, एंड इवन दो दे सेड देयर इज नो कोरिलेशन टू दैट बिकॉज इट कुड ऑल्सो बी लाइक कि वो कंट्रीज बिकॉज दे आर डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज, that is why they choose not to believe in religion, but because all of their needs are being met, so they don't need to do anything that is immoral, something like that.
So how do we define immoral? For example, in all these developed countries, first of all, many of them have very high suicide rates. Secondly, broken families are the norm. Very high rates of divorce, very high rates of single parent families, which actually gives a child a very, very terrible grounding in life.
Right.
A child who comes from a broken home is very likely to create a broken home himself or herself. So it's a vicious cycle. So from outside it looks like they have very high standards of living. उनका जीवन बहुत अच्छा है, वहाँ पर crime बहुत कम है. But if you look at their actual day-to-day life, it's not very happy often. A broken family is never a happy family. A single parent can never give the child what it really needs.
Yes.
Historically and as a species, we need to have two parents.
Yeah.
And both have to be present. I mean, historically, it was seen as a very great misfortune to have either only one parent, only a father or a mother. So that's what you see as the norm in many of these nations, even though they have high standards of living and all. So superficially, अगर हम देखेंगे तो बहुत अच्छा है उनका जीवन, लेकिन actually देखेंगे तो अच्छा नहीं है from many aspects. Yeah, there are many issues as well.
Yes.
So there is good, there is bad as well, and I'm not sure if it's all good. You know.
Right. Yeah. But sir, do you agree this? Like, what's your opinion on this? कि religious philosophy को अगर आप कोई भी और philosophy से भी अगर आप complement कर रहे हो, या उसको supplement कर रहे हो, like either or, तो then still the purpose of morality and the purpose of like having a good meaning to life can also be served.
Oh, definitely. You need to have some grounding, some moral and ethical grounding, and some purpose in life. It doesn't necessarily have to come from religion.
Yeah.
You can believe in whatever you want. If you can believe in, like you said, Stoicism or Epicureanism or Charvaka or whatever, or you tell yourself that XYZ is the purpose of life. Let's say I tell myself that मैं किसी भी भगवान में विश्वास नहीं करता हूँ, but my purpose in life is to give more to society than I take from society.
Humanity.
That gives you a huge purpose in life that you can carry forward for 100 years.
Absolutely.
So you need to have a very clear definition of what is your life's purpose. If you have that, and if you tell yourself that these are the red lines I will not cross, you're gonna have a great life. You don't need God for that.
Right.
So it's up to you. For most people, they would want to have some kind of religious path, but it's entirely possible not to have any religion associated with you and still live a very purposeful and moral life.
Absolutely. The reason I asked you this question was so that I wanted to reinstate for the audience what is the true purpose of religion. Right? It's to, you know, you can supplement that. You can create an alternate ideology just for yourself based on your needs that adds meaning to your life. So that people are able to separate the superstitions and true religious meaning or ethics and all that stuff. Because there's quite often an association of that. कि एक पर्टिकुलर धर्म अगर एक चीज़ बोल रहा है वो सही है, तो उस पर्टिकुलर धर्म से संबंधित जितने भी लोग हैं वो कोई भी चीज़ बोलेंगे तो सही होगा. Right, but ultimately the purpose is to just give you meaning and to empower you.
Yeah.
और सर यहाँ पे एक और एक प्रॉब्लम आ जाता है. अभी क्या हो रहा है, देखो पुराने ज़माने में ऐसा था कि all these religions were created in different pockets of the earth or different areas of the earth. So for example, in the Middle East we had different religion. We had in the Roman Empire we had different religions, polytheistic. In the Israel area we had the Jewish religion that is coming up. In India we had different polytheistic religions. China different. But now, because of globalization and because of the internet economy, the world is very closely connected.
Yes.
तो अब क्या हो रहा है कि ये वाला युद्ध बहुत छिड़ रहा है कि मेरा धर्म सच्चा है, मेरे धर्म में ही सच्चाई है, बाकी सारे धर्म खराब है, वो गलत बताते हैं, गुमराह कर रहे हैं. तो लाइक व्हाट कैन वी डू फॉर दिस माइंडसेट? बिकॉज राइट नाउ लाइक यू कैन सी दैट कि आप अगर ऑनलाइन भी देखेंगे, मैं अगर एक लाइव स्ट्रीम लेता हूँ तो कमेंट्स में कॉन्स्टेंटली ये आता रहता है, लाइक हर कोई रिलीजन वाले अपने गॉड को ऊपर दिखा रहे हैं और दूसरे गॉड्स को नीचा दिखा रहे हैं. नाउ दिस इज वेरी रॉन्ग फ्रॉम अ ह्यूमैनिटेरियन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, बिकॉज द पर्पस वॉज ऑफ रिलीजन वॉज टू यूनाइट ह्यूमैनिटी. बट नाउ इट इज डूइंग एग्जैक्टली द ऑपोजिट. अभी वो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स क्रिएट कर रहा है. एंड लुकिंग एट इट फ्रॉम फ्यूचरिस्टिक पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, आगे जाके ऑब्वियसली इट माइट रेगुलेट इटसेल्फ समवेयर डाउन द लाइन बिकॉज ऑफ नेचुरल सिलेक्शन प्रॉबेबली, बट अभी के लिए क्या किया जा सकता है कि ये मानसिकता थोड़ी कम हो?
See, first of all, we have to understand this is human nature. It's always going to be there. My daddy bigger than your daddy. My daddy stronger than yours. ये हमेशा रहता है. You know, this pissing contest, all that. So that is something वो हमेशा रहेगा, whether it is religious or whether it is the strength of my armed forces or whatever it is, it's always going to be there. We're always going to have this comparison and this battle for supremacy. Secondly, ये भी सच है कि not all religions are supremacist. Some religions did not start by saying कि हम better है.
Yes.
But then one section of society starts saying we are better, the other will retaliate. And now it's everybody is doing that.
Yes.
Right? So I think कि इसका कोई समाधान नहीं है, इसका कोई हल नहीं है. You cannot eradicate religion from society. It's always going to be around. And this is always going to be there. So internet ने क्या किया है? It has not made things worse. It has simply exposed society for what it is. It has not really made things worse. Society हमेशा ऐसे ही थी, लेकिन आज ये साफ सामने दिखता है कि लोग ऐसा कर रहे हैं. So I think that sensible people should stay out of this, first of all. There's no point saying कि मेरा धर्म अच्छा है कि आपका धर्म बुरा है कि vice versa or whatever. Every religion is different. सब धर्म समान नहीं है. Some people believe that all religions are the same. No, bhai. All religions are different.
Yes, it's like saying different moralities. Every scientific theory is same.
नहीं, वही ना.
It's not possible.
Yeah, so it is completely wrong to say that all religions are the same and they all say the same things and all want good, only good.
Yes.
Some religions don't always want good for others.
Yes, exactly. So, and some religions are kind of more like a political ideology.
Yeah, so let's not go deeper into that, but there is this thing. Some religions are exclusivist, some are all inclusive, and so on. So the point is that there is no big point getting deep into these things, into these little petty fights. It's going to give nobody anything. आप कुछ अच्छा करो अपने जीवन में, आपको जो भी धार्मिक पाथ अच्छा लगता है, you follow it and don't get into fights with people. And see, the world is not full of the same people. हम you know, we talk about Vasudeva Kutumbakam. Vasudeva Kutumbakam was a cautionary tale that came out of the Jatak tales. Jatak Katha नाम का एक पूरा एक वो है.
Stories, I guess.
Stories है. It's a literary thing. उसमें एक story है about vulture and some animals and all. उसमें ये actual cautionary tale है कि the world is not one. The world is not one family. If you believe it, you're gonna get into trouble. लेकिन हमने उसका अब उल्टा उसका वो निकाला है और कह रहे हैं कि वसुदेव कुटुंबकम, the world is one. The world is not one.
Okay.
So everybody is going to be different. Everybody is going to have different outlooks, different religious outlooks, different philosophies. Don't try to mix everything together and don't get into this pointless fights. किसका धर्म अच्छा है, किसका धर्म अच्छा नहीं है. सबका धर्म अपने अपने जगह पे सही है. जिसको जो फॉलो करना है करने दो. And try to cooperate with each other despite your differences and try to make the world a better place. That's what I would say.
So यहाँ पे to continue this further, like do you think can science be that unifying factor कि जहाँ पे अगर हर इंसान एजुकेट हो सके और वो एक रैशनल कॉज एंड इफेक्ट बेस्ड माइंडसेट क्रिएट कर सके तो वो कुछ कॉमन यूनिवर्सल एथिक्स और मोरालिटीज़ पे बिलीव करने लगे जो कि साइंस ड्रिवन है. सो साइंटिफिक फंडामेंटल ड्रिवन है कि फॉर एग्जांपल समथिंग ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ कि यार एक इंसान को अपनी लाइफ में खुश रहने के लिए, फुलफिल रहने के लिए क्या चाहिए. ओके, उसको चाहिए एक ऐसा एटमॉस्फेयर, ऐसा माहौल, ऐसा जस्टिस सिस्टम, सो ऑन एंड सो फोर्थ. Even though that will be subjective, but still, like we could agree on certain ground, based on data, कि ये चीज़ें actual में long term में एक person के life में fulfillment create करती है. So do you believe that is possible?
See, my point is that science can tell us what are the physical conditions you need for a good life.
Yeah.
But it cannot tell you what ethics and morality you're gonna follow. So, for example, nuclear power has no ethics. You can use it for good or for bad.
Yeah.
Right. Similarly, a sharp blade can be used for cutting vegetables or something worse than that. So science doesn't have any ethics, it doesn't have any morality, it will just deal with the physical part of life. So at the end of the day, I don't think science can tell you what is the best way of living life. It will tell you what is the best way of solving problems. But you can see a good thing as a problem or a bad thing as a problem.
Yeah.
You can see another person as a problem. And how do you solve that person? Science can give you different ways of solving that.
Yeah.
But so the thing is, science cannot tell you what is the best way to live life. It can tell you what is the best way to solve problems, whether it is problems that of physical, like health issues, or how to make the earth more habitable, or how to make the moon more habitable, or Mars more habitable, or how to best way of getting there. But it cannot tell you what is the best way of living life and the purpose of life. Uske liye to we will need some other way.
Right. So in my calculation, there are two branches, two ways how it could eventually manifest. Like एक तरफ तो साइंस लोगों को वो प्रिंसिपल्स दे देता है, और लाइक हम थोड़ा सा और डीप जाते हैं और कि लाइक एथिक्स और मोरालिटी को भी एक टूल की तरह देखा जाए कि वो ह्यूमन लाइफ सेटिस्फैक्शन को बढ़ाए.
Yes.
मतलब एक टूल की तरह, एंड देन क्रिएटिंग एथिक्स एंड मोरालिटी बेस्ड ऑन दैट, or creating a universal religion. So something like a religion wherein we are talking about humanity, space, faring civilization, humanity, supremacy, something like that. जो सारे universe को, so for example now let's say there are different religions, Hindus, Muslims. So Muslims are fighting with Hindus, Hindus are Muslims, right? So क्या अगर ये दोनों को बता दिया जाए कि आप दोनों तो एक ही हो, और ultimately humanity एक पूरा धर्म है, and our goal is to, our goal like our jannat or our heaven is something else. So that is the prosperity.
So how do you make them all believe this?
Yeah, that will require genuine efforts.
So first of all, you will have to get rid of both those religions and then replace those two with this new thing.
Yeah.
Who's going to do that?
Or something like, at the right place, at the right time, all the religious leaders will have to let go of their power and come up with a new kind of an upgraded reformist ideology.
So for example, in Hinduism, religious leaders have no power. It's a completely decentralized religion. There's no power in
but still they have influential power, right?
Influence is very different from power. Very different from power.
Yeah.
Let me explain the difference between influence and power. Let's say I have 1 million followers on Twitter, and they will listen to me sometimes. That is called influence. Let's say I have 100 men, well-armed men, who will obey me instantaneously without question.
Right.
That is power.
That is power. Okay.
The huge difference between influence and power. So when it comes to religious leaders, some of them have actual power in some religions. In some religions like Hinduism, they only have some influence.
Right.
Never power.
Right. So, precisely.
Yeah. So in the case of Hinduism, Buddhism, etc., Jainism, there is influence but not power, and it's very decentralized.
Right.
But in the Abrahamic religions, it's very pyramidal, it's very militaristic, it's very political, and there is actual power there.
Yes.
So there is a huge power asymmetry when it comes to these religions.
Right. And also, in many religions, they gain power through the text itself. Hey, you have to believe in this and you have to do this.
Yeah.
So that is now again power. That's like a code of conduct which you need to follow.
Yes.
But in Hinduism, it's like more liberal. कि यार आपके ऊपर है.
Believe whatever you want.
आपको अलग-अलग मार्ग है भगवान को पाने के लिए. धर्म मार्ग है, कर्तव्य मार्ग है, अलग-अलग.
Hinduism is way too democratic. In the same family, you will have 5 members who will all vote for different political parties. It won't happen in other religions.
Right.
Yeah.
Precisely. So that was one of the ways जो हो सकता है. That is very hard. अगर हम soft influencing पकड़ते हैं तो उसके लिए तो ages लग जाएंगे. Ages लग जाएंगे. And this is also very utopian. कि सारे के सारे जो leaders हैं वो एक time पे power देने के लिए ready हो जाए और मांगे. So that has to be done with some kind of force. Right. Which would become controversial.
Which would become counterproductive.
To
defeat the purpose.
Yes. So basically ये वक्त ही बताएगा कि मतलब वो चीज़ कैसे ब्रांच ऑफ हो सकती है. Like क्या साइंस टोटली रिप्लेस कर सकता है, क्योंकि जो अगर हम ह्यूमैनिस्टिक प्रिंसिपल्स या कुछ ऐसे कॉमन ऑब्जेक्टिव्स लाते हैं, सो दूसरी चीज़ जो एक हो सकती है वो ये हो सकता है कि लोगों का परसेप्शन डिफरेंट है. तो फॉर इंस्टेंस लाइक एक पर्सन के लिए लाइफ को अच्छे से जीना इज़ टोटली ओके, और एक पर्सन के लिए लाइफ में मेहनत करके अपना नाम बनाना is the purpose of life. So you see, like objectively the event is the same, but then दोनों का नजरिया अलग है.
बिल्कुल.
तो आप कैसे एक रूल बना सकते हो दो अलग अलग नजरिए वालों के लिए?
One rule to rule them all, you cannot make one.
Yes, exactly.
हर कोई व्यक्ति अलग.
This is also a limitation, I believe. Yeah, but eventually like maybe somewhere in between कि कुछ थोड़ा सा freedom दिया जाए, थोड़ा सा centralization, थोड़ा सा decentralization, something like that. Maybe eventually like we reach that equilibrium जहाँ पे कोऑपरेशन बढ़े, एटलीस्ट अभी जितना कोऑपरेशन है बिटवीन द, बिकॉज सी लाइक एनी साइंटिफिक प्रोजेक्ट इज़ बीइंग डन, और मैं ये लोगों को एग्जाम्पल के तौर पे भी बोलता हूँ, जब भी इसरो कोई स्पेसक्राफ्ट को स्पेस में भेजता है या नासा भेजता है तो वहाँ पर कभी भी हिंदू मुस्लिम नहीं किया जाता, वहाँ पर ह्यूमैनिटी का टैग आ जाता है कि इंसानियत की ये रचना है जो स्पेस तक इस स्पेसक्राफ्ट को भेज रही है. सो दैट शुड बी symbolic for humans as well. So anyway sir, now moving a little apart from humans towards aliens. So what is your perspective about aliens? Do you believe in our galaxy? So there's this Fermi paradox.
Yeah.
You know ki like galaxies are moving apart faster than the speed of light because of dark energy. So do you think will we be able to interact with any alien in our lifespan, or in like let's say 2000, 3000, 5000 years down the line?
It's a very interesting question. It's very hard to answer it definitively. So first, सबसे पहला प्रश्न ये उठता है कि aliens होते हैं क्या?
Yes.
Do aliens exist?
Yeah.
So अगर हम statistically देखेंगे, let's see what is a good statistical possibility of aliens existing? Maybe 1 out of every million stars.
Yes.
Maybe 1 out of every billion stars.
Yes.
1 out of 10 raised to 9. So if we calculate the number of stars in our galaxy and we calculate the number of galaxies in the visible universe, you multiply that together, you get 10 raised to 22 stars. That's 1 with 22 zeros after it. So that is way more than 1 out of a billion. So from that statistic, so there are more stars in the universe than there are grains of sand in all the beaches on our planet.
Yes.
इतने stars हैं. अब क्या हम ये मान सकते हैं कि इतने सारे stars में कोई life नहीं है कहीं पे भी? Impossible. So I am pretty convinced that life exists out there. Most likely even intelligent life, most likely even more intelligent than us.
Yes.
लेकिन वो कहाँ है हम जानते नहीं है. And universe इतना बड़ा है that if you are constrained by the speed of light, the speed limit that is coded into the universe, then you may never see life again.
Is there just one perspective to add?
Yeah.
Like जब Earth बना था, तो people say 3.8 billion years ago, 3.7, 3.8, तो within 700 million years, first cell was incorporated, came into existence. First cell. जहाँ पे एक बेसिक आई थिंक आरएनए भी इंट्रोड्यूस हो चुका था, न्यूक्लिक एसिड्स. तो कहने का मतलब ये है कि 700 मिलियन साल में एक प्लैनेट के गोल्डी लॉक जोन में होने के बाद अगर एक सेल बन सकता है तो हाउ कैन इट नॉट बी पॉसिबल कि है.
अब प्रश्न ये उठता है कि ये सेल आया कहाँ से?
या दैट वाज लाइक उसके लिए
भेजा या किसी ने वेट सी द ओरिजिन ऑफ लाइफ. हम क्या है? वी आर कैरियर्स ऑफ डीएनए.
यस.
The real secret behind life is DNA. Every single life form on our planet has some form of this double helix phenomenon.
Self-replicating molecule.
Self-replicating thing. Actually, we are simply carriers of DNA. हमारा biological purpose है to transmit DNA.
Absolutely.
Right.
We are programmed for that.
And we believe that we are all intelligent and we believe in God and all that.
We believe higher purpose. We believe in higher purpose.
But the lower purpose is just pass on DNA.
Yes.
So the question is, where did DNA come from? Or there are theories like panspermia and all that. Believe there's no proof for it, but they believe that maybe DNA, because see, we have had meteors fall on the planet, and they contain amino acids and complex organic chemistry. That is kind of the signature of life. That is the prerequisite for life. We don't know if we have ever found anything which contains DNA, but we have found amino acids and all that. So it looks like the chemical signatures of life, like amino acids, and which are the building blocks of proteins, are pretty common in the asteroids, in the rocks in our solar system,
right?
Where we have never found life until now over there.
Absolutely.
So it's possible there could be life in a microscopic form, microorganisms. Maybe on Mars there is a possibility. Maybe on Titan, maybe on the subsurface oceans in places like Europa and all. So I think it's even possible there could be life beyond Earth in our own solar system. It's possible. Eventually we'll find out whether it's there or not.
Yes.
And when it comes to other planets, on other star systems, we haven't found any evidence thus far, but it doesn't mean it's not there. So क्या aliens होते हैं? I am pretty convinced aliens होते हैं.
Yes.
I'm pretty convinced, even though we have never found it.
Yes.
Statistically अगर हम examine
Absolutely.
करेंगे, तो aliens होने चाहिए. है कि नहीं हमें पता नहीं. We have no
right. और हम उनसे संपर्क कर पाएंगे कि नहीं वो नहीं पता.
संपर्क अभी मे बी संपर्क पॉसिबल हो सकता है, लेकिन हमारी टेक्नोलॉजी में भी बहुत प्रिमिटिव है.
Right.
We only rely on electromagnetic spectrum. light spectrum.
That has a limitation.
That has limitations. First of all, it has the speed limit, speed of light. We don't know how to use wormholes. Wormholes could be traversable. We could maybe be able to make them.
Teleportation, quantum entanglement.
So many things are there, but we only understand 5% of the universe.
Right.
We don't know 95% of the universe. We are clueless. That's why we have so many limitations. And maybe aliens may be watching us. Okay, for example, if you have a petri dish, जिसमें आपने एक bacteria का colony बनाया है, and you are looking at it from the microscope, they have no idea you're looking at them.
That's an added dimension.
They have no idea you're looking at them.
Yeah.
But you're looking at them. ये लोग सोच रहे हैं कि भाई aliens होते हैं क्या? They'll be talking to each other. भाई aliens are looking at you right now. So we may be like those bacteria.
Right.
Compared to some other intelligent life forms, we may be like bacteria only. And maybe they are looking at us right now and we have no idea.
From some higher dimension.
Maybe they are dark matter aliens. Who knows? So there are lots of possibilities out there. We are confining our search for aliens to 5% of the universe. 95% we have not even thought about. So I think aliens may most likely be out there.
Yeah.
But maybe we are too stupid and too primitive to see them.
Yes. And then it also comes down to our concept of life or how life is formed.
Yes.
So we understand कि हमारे केस में RNA से DNA बना और DNA से बाद में मतलब वो रेप्लिकेशन चालू हुआ. तो यहाँ पर जो लाइफ का जो फंडामेंटल हम समझ रहे हैं वो RNA को समझ रहे हैं. But then there are other molecules, like other carbon molecules that are very capable of doing a similar kind of thing. Like silicon is one such contender.
What about silicon? Silicon-based life forms.
Exactly.
It could happen.
Absolutely.
Why do we need water? Maybe something else?
Absolutely. And there could be life in stars as well.
Exactly.
With that logic.
Yeah.
Right. And how would you like find out that?
Exactly. So we have confined ourselves to think about water, the Goldilocks zone, and carbon-based life.
Yes.
There could be other kinds of life which we may not even have even conceived of.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So there are so many possibilities out there. You may even have nuclear life, on stars, inside stars. Who knows?
Inside the plasma.
Inside the plasma, maybe inside the actual star itself. Who knows? Anything could be possible. We have not even examined those concepts. So our definition of life is very limited to the kind of life we encounter on our planet. Our planet is a special case of a planet. It's a very specific planet.
Yes.
But because we have no experience of what lies beyond the planet, we have not experienced it, so we cannot imagine other
like
kinds
कुएं
of
का मेंढक कि हमें मालूम है कि हमारे कुएं में ऐसे काम होता है, तो बाहर भी शायद ऐसे ही काम
होता होगा. लेकिन बाहर बहुत कुछ है जो हम जानते नहीं है. वही बात है.
So there are different hypotheses. So for example, this is by Nikola Kardashev. Like I believe I'm pronouncing his first name right. The Kardashev scale.
Yeah.
So it talks about the different types of civilization. So do you believe like eventually we'd be able to reach up to that level wherein we could actually harness the entire energy of a star? So like creating Dyson spheres. That is a very sci-fi kind of concept. But what's your take on that?
Yeah, so the Dyson sphere is a very sci-fi kind of concept, but it's physically entirely possible. Entirely possible. The thing is, are we going to ever reach a stage where we can actually harness, first of all, the entire energy of one planet? I think if we don't destroy ourselves and we last another few million years, we'll be able to do it. I don't think we are going to be able to do it in the next 1,000, 2,000 years.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. But once we evolve to a certain stage and once we are able to make major engineering breakthroughs, see, it's about the scale of engineering. When you want to harness the entire energy of a star, it's about scale, the scale that you can't imagine right
Getting
now.
all that material from where we will get.
We'll have to take it from another star system.
Exactly. If we imagine our Earth next to the sun, it is like a grain of sand.
Grain of sand. You want to envelop the whole star into something with something.
Absolutely.
You will need massive amounts of material, way more than we have on the Earth.
And probably in the other planets of the solar system.
Yeah, we'll need maybe 10,000 Earth or 100,000 Earth worth of material. So that is a whole different scale of engineering. Definitely physically possible. But I think we are not even...
Humanly possible or not, that's...
Humanly not possible right now.
Right now, definitely not.
Definitely right now, just a pipe dream. Eventually it may be possible if we don't destroy ourselves in a nuclear war or something. Yeah.
Okay, sir. This one question I had. This was sort of like I just wanted to confirm, since you are a physicist, right? So, in general relativity theory, so there's a little confusion. They say that that because of the principle of equivalence, it's like the gravity that we feel is actually the acceleration of the object that is curving the space-time. Okay, so for instance, like general relativity equations say that this Earth is accelerating. So if I drop something, so precisely it is because of the acceleration of Earth that object would hit the ground with the speed, with the acceleration of 9.8 meters per second square. So, like, is it something that we cannot comprehend this mathematical derivation from relativity? Because as per relativity, the equation, basically objects can accelerate from all the directions and are accelerating from all the direction to be stationary. And that is, so for instance, like, so we have this two-dimensional perspective of acceleration, right? Whenever somebody says कि कोई चीज़ accelerate हो रही है, तो example एक गाड़ी, तो हमें लगता है गाड़ी accelerate हो रही है, आगे जा रही है, पीछे जा रही है, कहीं ना कहीं वो जा रही है, उसका stationary, उसका position stationary नहीं है, उसके coordinates position change हो रहे हैं. But relativity के हिसाब से एक object accelerate कर रहा है चारों बाजू से, but at the same time वो कहीं जा भी नहीं रहा, right? So do you think this is a limitation of our brain, that we are not able to conceptualize it, or is this some like mathematical fantasy that we are trying कि हमारी physical reality ऐसी ही है करके, but असल में this is just a model that explains the thing, or do you think कि 4-dimensional reality में ऐसा ही होता है?
See, mathematics is our understanding of the deeper regularities and patterns of the universe. So we have codified it into a language that we call mathematics. ठीक है? When it comes to relativity, it is very non-intuitive, very counterintuitive, because it is something that doesn't make sense to us on a day-to-day from our day-to-day experience, right? So acceleration is, see, you know, even a change in direction is acceleration. If a particle is going in a curved path, without its speed changing, just the direction is
Constant
changing, that also is acceleration.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So there are lots of different ways of looking at acceleration and all that. The point is that we don't have a proper understanding of the universe. We only have a rough understanding of the universe. Even our laws of physics, general relativity, all the equations, these are still approximate equations. There are issues with general relativity also, like we spoke about the infinities that we get out of it. So whatever understanding we have of physics is an approximate and rough understanding. We still don't know the real truth. And even this understanding may change. But the understanding that we have as of today is still already strong enough to make reliable technology out of it.
Yes, absolutely.
So that is one distinction we have to understand. So that's what I can say. See, science, the boundaries of science will change. Our understanding of science will get better. So right now, even if an object is at rest, but it's still accelerating, because you can be, it's at rest with respect to you.
Yes.
It means that it may be traveling 1,000,000 miles per hour.
Yeah.
It means you are also traveling with respect to some other point in space.
Yes.
And you also may be traveling at the same speed with respect to that other point in space.
Right.
But from your relative perspective, it's stationary.
It's stationary.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of argument which I try to give, because it's very difficult to visualize an equation, right? Yeah. So like kind of, so this is the Earth, like for instance, and it is warping the space, and space is constantly falling inside the Earth, like from all the directions. Why? Because space is trying to compress around this, and this is the river model of general relativity, which kinds of gives this explanation. So it's constantly flowing inside the Earth. So now Earth is accelerating because the space is flowing inside it. Right? So it is accelerating relatively to the space. But even though they don't use the word space, because if you say it is accelerating relative to something, then the entire purpose of relativity gets defeated. Because how can acceleration be absolute? Right? So, but this is the kind of picture which can help people to understand. And then space is flowing inside the mass from all the direction. Mass is constantly trying, so there are internal pressures within the mass. It is constantly trying to accelerate outwards to resist the compression. Something like that. So space is flowing inwards and flowing outwards. And because we are over here, like outside, we are in the space area, we are not touching the Earth, right? So we are outside, and we are kind of getting sucked in towards, like our trajectory is bending like a parabola, because that's what the curvature does. It gives direction to your free fall. So we are constantly moving inside, but then because the space itself is moving inside, it would and Earth is withstanding the compression with that particular acceleration value. That's why it would appear to us that, oh hey, Earth is accelerating. So something like that.
So the thing about science communication is that you are forced to use metaphors, similes to explain the equation.
Right.
And those metaphors and similes always have limitations. At some point in time, they break down.
Absolutely. And sometimes you get confused.
Yes.
And
sometimes
people also get confused.
Yeah. If you really want to understand what's happening, you have to study the equations, you have to solve the equations, but then you won't be able to communicate exactly what it means,
right.
unless somebody else also understands the same mathematics as you.
You will be able to communicate just in mathematical language.
The only way to communicate precisely is through the mathematics itself.
Right.
Otherwise, you have to resort to these metaphors and similes, which are
sometimes they'll break down.
Sometimes they'll break down. Sometimes they are not exactly accurate. One example is when you talk about Hawking radiation, that black holes radiate. So one example, one metaphor that one can give is that in quantum field theory, we have the pair production that happens, the constant creation and annihilation of particle and antiparticle pairs.
Yes.
And if you have a black hole with a event horizon, that boundary, and if a particle antiparticle pair is created at the event horizon boundary itself, then one particle goes out, one particle goes in, and then that's how the black hole loses mass, because the black hole paid the bill of the creation of the particle-antiparticle pair.
Okay.
And that's how the black hole seems to be radiating, but it's actually not how it happens. But that's a nice way of making it palatable for most people, but it's not exactly how it happens. So when you're doing science communication, when you want the audience to feel fascinated with science, you have to use metaphors and similes. You have to paint a cinematic image
that they can understand.
Yes. But that is not entirely accurate.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. If you really want to communicate effectively, you have to use the language of mathematics.
But
which
most people don't understand.
Because it's too complex.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
Precisely said. Okay, sir. So that's pretty much all of it from my end. I'm looking forward to another conversation with some more questions. If you'll have time, then we'll connect again.
I would love to.
I had really had a fun conversation.
Me too.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and clearing all the doubts of our viewers. You were highly in demand on my channel. Many people were asking a lot of times that please bring in sir. So finally that quest has ended. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. A great pleasure talking to you.